And also from WAGBIB, we've had Chirewa, who has represented Ghana or presented ideas all the way in Berlin, I think 2 times in a row. So, I mean, with these words, I'm very happy that we are hosting this Falling Walls Lab again. Last year, unfortunately, we didn't host it, but this year we are happy to host it, and we hope to continue hosting it. Thank you for coming and for being on time. And let me apologize, we started 10 minutes late. This is not of us, but it's also called academic quarter. In Germany, when the time is announced for the seminar, you know, they have 15 minutes for the lecture to settle in. So let's take it as an academic quarter. Thank you again. Thank you for coming.
Oh, a big round of applause for Mr. Barnes. And I have the pleasure of welcoming to the lectern the founding director of this institute, the West African Center for Cell Biology of Information. Give him a big round of applause.
Good morning to you all. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the University of Ghana and to WAGBIB. Indeed, the Falling Walls Lab is a program that WAGBIB has been very much associated with since its inception. And we have always participated actively in this event. And like Felix mentioned, our Vice Chancellor now has also had some interactions with this program and played a role in the past. So as a university, we are very honored to continue this partnership and to be hosting this year's Falling Walls Lab here. And WAGBIB, we are also very proud to provide the venue for this and to participate and support this program. Dr. Lydia Mosi is the deputy director here, so she's, representing us, very well in this program. Welcome, and I hope that you all enjoy the program today. Thank you.
Today, please be generous with your applause. Can we do it better? For our host, Professor Gordon Awandari. Now, can we also welcome to the lectern Mr. Christoph Roverkamp. Please, such a big name deserves a big round of applause. From the German embassy, please.
Thank you, moderator. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Prof. Awandari, Felix Barnes, dear jury members, of course, all the presenters, colleagues, and distinguished guests. So let me give you a warm welcome here on behalf of the German Embassy, Accra. And I'm really glad to be here today, and it's really a pleasure. So thanks for your kind invitation, and thanks for having me here, and also my colleague here. I have a question. Who checked the Falling Walls Science Summit website? Can I see some fingers? Okay, 1, 2. And who has maybe visited Germany? Okay, so I just want to check how familiar you are with the German history, because you can't imagine what happened on the 9th November 1989. It was the fall of the wall. This was really a historic and symbolic event, because since 1961, Germany was separated or divided into 2 parts, Western Germany and Eastern Germany. And the symbol of this divided country was the wall. And you could experience this wall in particular in Berlin. Because in Berlin, the wall has a length of 155 kilometers. So the city was separated, families were separated, and in the night to the 9th of November 1989, this wall fall down. And this was something very emotional, and it is also a symbol that it marks a new era of freedom by breaking barriers, both physical barriers, but also imaginary barriers. So, and this is the spirit of the Falling Walls Lab and also of the Falling Walls Science Summit. It is something like what need to be torn down. And I remember good the time when I was in the Ministry of Education and Research in Germany, and the former chancellor asked our minister, oh, we have the 20th anniversary in 2009 of the fall of the wall, so we need to do something special. So 1989, the wall fall, and then in 2009, for the first time, this Falling Walls conference was conducted. And when we drafted this on the occasion of the anniversary, we asked ourselves, and now I have my second hat on because I work for the Ministry of Education and Research, which faults must fall down in research in the coming decades to tackle the major societal problems? Which walls need to come down to solve crucial riddles in basic research? Which walls must be torn down to help innovations break through? So these are and were leading questions regarding, and this is also something unique and special, for the first time in 2009, a lot of Nobel laureates were invited, as well as top scientists. And you can't imagine what topics they raised in their presentations and discussions. It was about combating deadly infections in developing countries. It was about the successful transitioning from fossil to renewable energies. It was also about providing developing countries with low-cost vaccines. And it was about the global prosperity and fighting poverty. And when I had a look at the topics that you will present here today, some of them are linked with these questions that were also raised by the Nobel laureates and the scientists. So they are still very, very important questions. And in 2009, the former chancellor described something that should be also your spirit for today. Because in her speech, and I want to quote her, after the fall of the wall, we can no longer declare anything impossible. So we can say everything is possible. And this is also something that we will experience hopefully today from the presenters. Everything is possible. So your Falling Lab here, the lab, is in the good tradition of what I described. So it was a kind of historical excursus. And, but let me strengthen this again. It is all about the challenge of overcoming and breaking down walls. Walls between the present and the future. Walls in societies. Walls in politics. Walls in business. Walls in research. Walls in scientific disciplines. And last but not least, walls in people's minds. So in a moment, we will hear the 12 breakthrough ideas. And as I mentioned, your ideas are really welcome because they should solve local as well as global problems. This should be your approach. But first of all, I would like to congratulate you already, presenters, because today you are here because you have already been successful. So you were selected by a number of applications, so you could be proud by yourself because you're already a winner, because you take part in this important lab today. But never forget, everything is possible. And as Felix mentioned, the winner will travel to Berlin. Just to give you an impression, in the last year, there were 12,500 visitors online and more than 700 participants on site in Berlin. So it's really one of the greatest opportunities, I would say, in your life, because it can open doors for your own personal future. I would like to give a big thank to the members of the jury for your special commitment. Thanks that you are here to an easy task, but I trust you will, at the end, you will decide and will have a fair decision. So all the best for you. And last but not least, I want to send special thanks to the organizers here, the University of Ghana, the German Academic Exchange Service, and the Startup Launch Africa, and for the good partnership with the Office of Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christoph. Can we give him a bigger round of applause? Thank you very, very, very much. We're here to hear ideas, creative, innovative ideas. And we have a difficult task, well, the jury does, and I have the pleasure of introducing the members of the jury. But a few rules. All our presenters, please pay rapt attention. You have 3 minutes to deliver your pitch, and your timer will be on that wall. It's set at 3 minutes already, so you want to keep your eyes there while you are delivering. Do not get carried away. In 3 minutes, you have to deliver your pitch, and I believe the jury will tell you what they are looking for while you do that. To introduce the members of the jury, we have the chair of the jury. In Ghana, we'll call him a very big man. He's Mr. Chonam Cleanse Akpelu, and he's the CEO of Suku Technologies. He's an IT professional and currently the Chief Executive Officer of Suku Technologies, acting chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries. He's also the founder and Chief Executive Officer of TechCom Visions, an IT solutions firm in Ghana. Chonam is the national chairman of the ICT sector of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI. He also acts as the board member of several institutions, including Accra Technical University, MVTI, CMMTI, and the Methodist University College of Ghana. He is the leader of Kadodo Africa, an advanced gateway that profiles, checks, verifies, and advances organizations in Ghana and Africa to situate them for the advantages of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Ladies and gentlemen, our chair of the jury, Mr. Chonam Cleanse Akpelu. Can we give him a hand? The next member of the jury is the CEO of Pop Out. He's a certified digital marketing professional, a social media coach, a technology consultant, an analytics specialist, a conference facilitator, a columnist. He has practical experience in advertising, digital marketing, social media, copywriting, multimedia, web app development, and events. He is the digital lead and CEO of Pop Out. He holds digital marketing professional certification from the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland. He is an alumnus of the University of Ghana, Legon, where we are now, and the Brand School of South Africa. He has been featured severally as a resource person and panel on major media channels in Ghana, such as DWTV, BBC 101. Joy FM, Joy News TV, GTV, Metro TV, and TV3. Friends, please welcome Mr. Maximus Ametogo. Please, can we see you? Molecular microbiologist by profession. Her research interest is in Buruli ulcer, a necrotizing skin ulcerative disease caused by Mycobacterium ulcerans. Pardon me, this is a mouthful. But that's why she's a doctor. Friends, She is interested in investigating the existing gaps in transmission by exploiting multidisciplinary approaches that will aid in identifying the niche of the bacterium in the natural environment, using in silico genomics and functional laboratory studies to provide insight into the environmental niche of M-use ulcerans and other environmental mycobacteria, and the development of rapid diagnostic and intervention strategies for Buruli ulcer disease. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lady of Ghana, Dr. Lydia Mosi. Can we give her a hand? After this, you need to take a gulp of water just to. But the next member of the jury is Mr. Wilfred Suman. He's a consultant. He works with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. He is a senior official of the ministry with 10 years experience supporting the development and implementation to private sector policies, projects, and programs of the government. Currently supporting the ministry's ongoing efforts at implementing government's industrial transformation agenda and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Wilfred is also us of DAAD, that's the German Academic Exchange Service. So he's back to serve. Can we put our hands together for Wilfred Suman? Now this next name will test my German pronunciations. She is a lecturer from the University of Education, Winneba. She is a DAD lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba. Besides teaching German, she supervises student projects, helps organize student events and excursions with the German club, and provides consultation and information on studying and researching in Germany and the various scholarship opportunities offered by the DAAD. She has a wide range of experience in the university didactic and teaching German as a foreign language worldwide, with teaching positions in India, Ukraine, the USA, and of course in Germany. Before coming to Winneba, she worked as the program director for refugee students at the International Office of, now this is a big one, Hochschule für Technik and Wirtschaft. Am I close? HCW in Berlin. Friends, please put your hands together for Annette Geithner. Did I get it right? Geithner. Geithner. Got you. The next member of the jury is the co-founder of Startup Lounge. Kwesi is the partner and the go-to management partner for SMEs across Africa. He is, of course, working with Startup Lounge Africa, and he has a deep understanding of the ecosystem in business and all connections on the West African region. Friends, I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Kwesi Iwua. Can we give him a hand? Next, we have the marketing lead for Startup Lounge. Josephine has been the marketing manager for the past 4 years and has developed a deep understanding of the industry. But her work goes beyond just marketing. She's also passionate about helping young people realize their talents and passions. As a mentor, she works closely with young people to identify their strengths and develop strategies to achieve their goals. As a tech enthusiast, she loves exploring new technologies and learning about their potential to transform the way they work and live. Whether it's through mentoring, marketing, or technology, her goal is to help people achieve success and make a positive impact. Friends, please welcome Miss Josephine Siao Ajeman. Now I have the pleasure of asking the microphone to be passed to the chair of the jury and simply asking him to tell me in a minute what he's looking forward to. What are the presenters supposed to do and how are they going to be judged? What are the categories? Please put on your microphone, just switch it on. You can use mine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your generous introduction. Good morning to everybody. Yes, so for I guess Felix will take us through the different criteria for judging, and Felix, are you around? Yes, please.
I think I can help in that regard. Our jury is going to be looking at 3 categories. Mr. Chairman, as you directed me this morning, it seems that you don't want to bear the task alone. But presenters, you will be judge 1 on the breakthrough factor, 2 on relevance and impact, and 3 structure and performance. So please keep that in mind, and that's how our jury will be scoring you. So, Mr. Chair, with your permission, can we have the first participant?
Yes, we should. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, I would ask that we pay rapt attention. As the presenters step forward onto the lectern, they would be giving us their presentations and their pitches in 2 minutes, in 3 minutes each. 3 minutes each. Our first presenter is from the University of Development Studies, and he speaks about breaking the wall of plastic pollution. Friends, put your hands together for Maltiti Mohammed.
Okay, good morning. Imagine after a stressful week of work and then the weekend comes and you go to the beach to relax and have a good time, but all you get is literally being washed off your feet by tons of plastic accompanied by the tides of the sea. With the rate at which plastic is disposed in Ghana, in some years to come, ladies and gentlemen, this will no longer be an imagination. Ghana imports 2.5 million metric tons of plastic annually, and 73% of these imports ends up as waste in our landfills, our water bodies, and sadly, our drainage systems, which we can all agree is one of the contributing factors to flooding in Ghana. Plastic is a substance that takes 500 to 1,000 years to decompose. So the more they are disposed, the more they keep piling up and harming our environment. My solution to this problem is a clothing and textile company that relies solely on recycled plastic. This is done by turning plastic bottles into polyester fibers, which can be used in the production of clothing and other textiles. Most of the clothing we wear in Ghana here are made of polyester. For example, our t-shirts, our gym wears, our football jerseys, even our local kaftans. Some of them are made of polyester. And then they are in high demand compared to natural fibers like cotton because polyester is more durable and then lasts longer. So the process is done by first gathering our plastic bottles and washing them off all impurities. Then they are shredded into tiny flakes, which are then passed through a process called extrusion, whereby they are melted at a temperature of 270 degrees Celsius to produce molten polyester, which are then forced through tiny holes called spinners, which are cooled and chopped after to form this fiber, of which I have a sample over here. This fluffy substance we see over here isn't cotton wool, but it's polyester made of recycled plastic, which can be stretched and used to produce yarn that can be used to sew clothing and other accessories. In 2021, according to Voser's import data, Ghana was the 71st importer of polyester in the whole world, which shows how the demand of polyester in the Ghanaian textile industry. And then comparing this way of producing polyester to the way of producing virgin polyester, because polyester is a synthetic polymer made from petroleum, which is the same chemical used in the production of plastic. So compared to the petroleum way, this saves 75% of energy compared to the virgin one, and then less carbon dioxide is emitted, and then less water is required. The demand for polyester in the Ghanaian textile industry keeps growing exponentially. So the best time to invest in it is now, and what better way to do it than to protect our environment alongside. My name is Maltiti Mohammed, and this is how I'm breaking the walls of plastic pollution. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll have some few questions from the jury.
Yeah, Maltiti.
Yes.
Very, very, very short and exciting solution. Now, I just want to know, what is your plan for the clothes that are produced after everything? Because the main idea is about recycling, and yes. So do you plan on recycling the clothes?
Yes, clothes made from polyester can be brought back, and then they can be gathered and then shredded again to form other substances like curtains and other things, other lighter substances, other lighter textiles. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other question? Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Just a second, Maltiti. I think Dr. Lydia had a question, but do bear in mind Maltiti finished 30 minutes earlier.
Okay, 30 seconds.
30 seconds earlier, yes.
So I'm a scientist, and I'll ask you, how do you go from the granules to the fiber?
Yeah, that's the extrusion process. First, they are heated, the granules. After they are washed and dried, they are heated at a temperature of 270 degrees Celsius, which forms this molten substance. And then this molten substance is now forced through tiny holes. They are called spinnerets. So once they are forced through it, then they are cooled, then shredded again to form this polyester fibers, which I have a sample over here. Thank you.
Would that be all?
Any other question?
Any other questions from our jury?
Okay, hold on, don't go. Last one.
Titi, how cost effective is this process, right?
Okay, right now I'm at this stage, and then it didn't really cost me that much. I made this from a blacksmith shop, so I use their instruments, and it doesn't really cost much. The only part that might cost is maybe stretching them into the yarn, because we need some small machinery to stretching them and then spin them into yarn.
Because I want to compare the cost of a shirt made from this to the cost of a shirt, say
a normal cotton shirt. Yeah. Now this is more cost effective compared to the other ones.
Okay, now it's getting exciting.
So, great presentation. I think we need to have cost, right? So how much does it cost to produce a virgin, polyester shirt?
So,
and then compared to the one that you are going to, from your resource that you're going to use for the production. And then have you thought about the chemicals you emit when you are, melting your materials at that temperature, the 200 degrees Celsius?
You see, when you are melted at the temperature from 250 to 270 degrees Celsius, like the harmful toxins from the plastic are emitted. So that's a stable temperature for them to be melted. And that's why it has to be done at that particular temperature. And then for a t-shirt like this, you need like 8 plastic bottles can be used to produce enough yarn to weave a t-shirt like this one. So compared to the normal way, let's say cotton, using cotton to make t-shirts, this is more cost effective. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maltiti Mohammed from the University of Development Studies. Next, we have our second presenter, and coming from the Catholic Institute of Business and Technology, and of course, speaking on breaking the wall of improper coconut husk disposal. Friends, join me, welcome Holy Hilarious Aboni. Can we give him a hand?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As my name was mentioned, my name is Aboni Holy Hilarious from the Catholic Institute of Business and Technology. Today we are breaking the wall of improper disposal of coconut husks. This picture was taken from Adabraka, from Accra to Adabraka. You see that there's a heap of coconut husks that have been packed, and therefore we want to take care of this. And we've realized that when we are taking care of this, we are going to also take care of other problems such as deforestation for the production of coal, and then high level of employment in the country and beyond. So what's our solution to the problem? We are going to recycle these coconut husks into coal. First of all, the process is that we are going to carbonize these coconut husks into coal briquette, which will further be grounded into powder, which will add starch and water, which will help us mold it into a shape of our own choice. Then, when we are doing this, we are not only cleaning up the environment, we are creating jobs, and we are also preserving our rainforests as well. For example, in Kenya, they have banned the cutting down of trees for the production of coal, and we can do likewise in Ghana. That is why I urge all of you to invest in this business. Then, what sets us apart from other coal production? First of all, we are going to have 2 forms of coal. One that will add a catalyst that will help users light their coal with ease, without using any fuel such as kerosene, petrol, or polyethylene, as our mothers used to do. Secondly, the cost of the coal will be moderate for everybody to be able to patronize. And then we are going to package them in in paper bags, which is environmental friendly. Thank you, and if there are any questions.
Any question?
All right, great presentation.
Thank you, sir.
You know, when you burn coal, you also emit chemicals into the environment. So how are you making sure you strike a good balance between that, your solution, and then protecting the environment?
Okay. First of all, I spoke about carbonization. It's just the process of burning without the presence of oxygen. Therefore, the coal that we are going to burn, we are not going to expose it to the atmosphere. To be covered to prevent oxygen. Therefore, all the smoke will be, will not allow to emit into the environment. Even if there will be, that will be about 0.05%, because from lightening the coconut husk, maybe that will emit just 0.05%. Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking at the future of this.
Okay.
Cooking, right?
Yeah.
How we cook is kind of moving from coal. And so if this is how you plan on saving the coconut husk, I don't want to be a doomsday prophet, but when we move from coal, how then will this solution be profitable or sustainable? Let me put it that way.
Thank you. First of all, coal is not only used for cooking. I'm from the Catholic Institute of Business and Technology, and then we use coal for burning incense during our celebrations. So they can, still have a market over there. Then also, coal can also be used for medicinal purposes. Right now, we have toothpaste that are derived from coal. So that is another way of market for us as well. Thank you.
Downstream, you said you want to add starch.
Yes, please.
Where are you getting the starch from?
Oh.
Is it an added cost to your bioremediation that you are doing?
Okay, the starch, not any other starch, but we can add corn flour. Yes.
So is it going to be cheaper? Because corn flour is not cheap. The starch source is not cheap. So have you really thought about where you're getting your starch from? And will it be cheaper than normal? Will your whole process be cheaper?
Yes, please, it will be cheap. Because looking at the price of, I can't really tell the price of maize, but then... All right, and then for the starch, we don't need much. Let's say if you take 1 jerry can of the coal briquette, we can use maybe 1 or half. Yeah, Olonka for that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other question? Okay, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next presenter, who will also be pitching in 3 minutes, I do hope that we got Holy's time. He left an extra time of about 1 minute, 10 seconds, right? At this point, we have the next presenter from the University of Ghana, so he's home. He should have some home court advantage to his vim today. He speaks on breaking the wall of skin cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Gideon Kofi Potofi.
Good morning. Would you believe if I told you I had a means of saving up to 1,000 lives in just a single month? I know you're all probably wondering how. Stay with me. Meet Baba Musa, a 65-year-old Kenyan with a tumor spot the size of a cauliflower on his nose. Afraid of stigmatization, he refuses to go to the hospital to have his condition checked. Due to the lack of understanding to what's happening to his skin, he resorted to traditional herbs and balms. But the tumor kept growing bigger and bigger, and so did his expenses. No one really had an idea what was happening to his skin until finally he passed away. Who ranks Kenya 26th in terms of skin cancer cases worldwide? And 95% of skin cancer cases in Kenya, similar to that of Baba Musa, are poorly understood and may lead to death as a result of the late detection and treatment. For it is with this problem that my team and I decided to come up with a novel idea of using AI for the early detection of skin cancer. Releva, our AI photo diagnosis tool, provides free screening at zero cost. This is a quick walkthrough of how it works. Photos of skin conditions are taken with smartphone cameras, which are then uploaded onto our cloud-based web app, which analyzes or detects skin cancer within 2 seconds. The accuracy of this algorithm is up to 95%. In a situation where a client is diagnosed of skin cancer, our web app then connects the client to a dermatologist at a fee. What makes us stand out from our competitors is the fact that we offer free screening at zero cost, where our competitors offer charge customers up to $6 for a single check. Secondly, our service is cost effective. To purchase an annual plan using our platform, it will cost an average customer $48, whereas our competitors are charging $50. Our team comprises of 2 software developers who are currently working on our AI model, which will be embedded into our web app for the detection of skin cancer. Our project aims to provide employment for dermatologists, as well as address SDG goals 3 and 8. Thank you.
Hello. Gideon. Okay. Congratulations on your AI, right? Sadly, I'm a machine learning engineer, and so this is going to be... I just want to understand. Firstly, where are you getting your training data from?
Where are we getting?
Your training data for the AI module you are building.
So I'm the accountant in the group, but our software developers are gathering data using deep learning.
Oh no, as in training data, right? There has to be data for you to train your model. And so I just want to know the data you are using. They've already established it as 95% accuracy.
Yes.
And so I just want to know the data you are using, that's all.
Okay, so we get data online. I'm not really good in software development, but our software developer made mention of the fact that they are using the data available online from a database, yes.
Okay, that's all.
All right, thank you.
Where is your focus market area, Kenya or Ghana or Africa or worldwide?
We are currently focusing on Kenya.
Why Kenya?
Because Kenyans are more exposed to skin cancer because of their location on the map.
Okay.
Right, so for me, what framework are you using to test if your AI is intelligent enough to retain that 95% accuracy?
Can you come again with a question?
So what framework are you using to detect, to guarantee that the 95% result you are getting is accurate? Has it been tested, has it been approved by WHO, or which ISO certification standards are you using?
So it hasn't been approved by WHO, but our software developers have so we are using deep learning, which actually has a lot of inner layers, which improves the data accuracy. And also we have done a lot of data augmentations, which has improved our sample size.
Have you done any before?
Yes, our software developers have done that.
So have you tested your app before?
They are currently building the app together with the AI model, the web app.
Okay, so it's under development, it hasn't been tested.
Yeah.
How did you get the 95% accuracy?
It's under development.
Okay.
Yes. So it was how do I put it now? Yeah. A research conducted by software engineers. That's how come they came up with that accuracy.
Your question is answered. Okay. You want to answer the question? Okay. Any other question? Yeah. Okay. Good luck. Next time, start from Ghana.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gideon Kofi Potofi from the University of Ghana. Breaking the wall of skin cancer was his pitch. Next, we have a gentleman from the Regional Maritime University, and he speaks on breaking the wall of AIDS deaths, so acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So please take note, his name is Kekeli Yao Dokenu. Let me just indicate that you have 3 minutes to pitch your ideas. I don't believe you get any scores if you do it at a less rate. So you might want to expand your time and give a good pitch. Don't be in a hurry to leave too much time on the clock. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Just a minute, Kekeli.
Yeah.
Charlotte, you want some information from me? Okay, Kekeli, the floor is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Good morning, lady. It's already started. Okay.
This is giving you time to gather your thoughts, so just hold on.
Okay. All right.
Put your thoughts together.
Okay. Thank you. I believe we all know what this is. For how much is a person's life worth? 2 cedis worth of condom, or 20 Ghana cedis to get HIV drugs from a hospital? My name is Kekeli, and I'm from Regional Maritime. This year, I witnessed the death of my close friend to HIV. Last year, I lost my grandmom to a long-standing disease called diabetes. Now, come with me. The problem I have identified with ART delivery in Ghana is on 3 core principles, okay? Inaccessibility with respect to the cost of getting access to the drugs at the hospital. Inadherence with respect to the complex nature of the HIV ART drug regimens. And lastly, stigmatization. Now, in a nutshell, let's think about this. We all know how mobile banking apps work, right? You can go to a bank and access walk-in services. At the same time, you can make use of mobile apps on your phone, mobile banking apps. Why can't we have this for health? Why can't we make good use of e-health? Come with me. This year, I want to use Falling Walls Lab Ghana as a chance to launch an e-health platform focused on helping to reduce the HIV-related death in Ghana. As I already mentioned, I mentioned 3 things: inaccessibility, inadherence, and stigmatization. So to fix this, I am looking forward to using e-health to provide an integrated app. And by integration, I mean integration with ERP systems in Ghana. And luckily, I selected LIMS, Lightwave Health Information Management System. And with this integration, it means patients upon confirmation at hospitals for HIV will be logged in by the doctors, and then the app automatically begins to extract their prescriptions. So you don't need to manually enter your prescription as it is on the market from other apps, okay? Now again, this app, based on this integration, is going to facilitate doorstep delivery of drugs. Now with LIMS, once pharmacists get to see your prescription, they can use my app to give your prescriptions to delivery apps such as Glovo and others to be delivered at your doorstep. Virtual nursing, in the sense that the app will pick up your prescription and will set up personalized reminders to help you to stick to your drug regimens. Lastly, destigmatization. This project is going to use treatment as a source for destigmatization. 0 to little contact with hospitals means we will have less and less exposure of patients to stigmatization. Thank you very much.
Okay, Josephine, this works.
So I want to ask if you've conducted any market research or need assessments to determine the demand for this novel idea, and did you gather any insights?
Yes, please. Okay. I intentionally left any quantitative statistics in this presentation for a reason. Excluding the panel of judges. Okay, audience, how many of us know how deadly HIV/AIDS is? Please show by hand. Please show by hand if you know how deadly HIV is. Now, if today you are tested positive for HIV, do you see the impending danger or the difficulty in accessing HIV drugs by moving from your workplace each and every month to get your antiretroviral drugs? Raise by hand if you will find this difficult. Mind you, you are going to be on this regimen for the rest of your life. Show by hand if you find it difficult, please. Thank you. Show by hand if you find it difficult to remember the complex prescriptions. You know, you are taking multiple drugs to treat to manage the HIV itself and the opportunistic infections, okay? Don't you think you will find it difficult to be able to stick to this prescription? Show by hand if you find this difficult. Thank you. Panel of judges, I believe this is enough quantitative data for us to rely on.
So we all know how people with HIV love to live very personal and private lives. So how do you plan to, your privacy policies and data conservation, you get what I mean? How do you plan to keep all of that?
Thank you. So if you look at destigmatization, okay, I stated that zero import of patient details. So when the app is integrated, just like the way your mobile banking app is integrated, okay, the app doesn't pick your name, phone number, or whatsoever. It's simply picking up prescriptions, automatically reminding you of the time you have to take it without you manually inputting it, okay? So with this app too, if you notice, please pay attention here. On destigmatization, I stated that biometric unlock of app. So the app can only be opened with your biometrics. So meaning without you being with the phone, there is absolutely no way someone can access your phone, open the app, and know that you even have HIV. Please let me add this. With destigmatization, when you go to Germany, legally you are not obliged to disclose your HIV status whatsoever to your partner. Even if you are taken to court, once you've taken necessary precautions to mitigate the transfer of HIV, you cannot go to jail. So, in a nutshell, there's no point in people disclosing their HIV status. Naturally, as humans, stigmatization runs in all of us, our DNA. If this is your husband and he collapses, your natural instinct tells you to save him. Someone on the other side, because he has no personal connection with him, may run away. It's in our DNAs. Women, when they go into relationships, they refuse or find it difficult to disclose their body counts to their partners. Why? Because you know that there is the stigma. So we are going to use treatment as a tool for destigmatization. That is what I want Fallen Walls Lab 2023 to help me do. Thank you.
Okay, mine has to do with the cost, right?
Yes.
One of the main reasons people don't go for ARTs is that they don't have the means to continuously buy it for the rest of their lives. The app you've put up will cost a lot.
No.
It will cost a lot, trust me.
I can answer to that.
Oh,
yes, as I said.
Wait, let me give you a fair idea.
Yes, please.
Now, you are taking away the visit to the hospital. That means your app needs to get consultants, medical consultants, that will do the whole retrieving the drugs for the person who gives just their symptoms, right? Else, unless you have some form of data that you are going to use, which won't be the same for everyone, you need consultants for that. That is one cost. Do you get me? Now, things like Glovo coming in, have you ordered food in Ghana today?
I prepared for all these
No, I'm just saying. Ordering food in Ghana, you just in Accra, it will cost you roughly between 30 cedis to 40 to 50 cedis to get your food delivered. That is another cost, right? I'm just giving you a fair idea off the top of my head how costly this app is going to be. Now, to put all that together and say that the ARTs, that the person using your app is now going to get your ARTs at a lower cost, kind of contradicts the reasons why a lot of people cannot get the ARTs. Do you get me?
May I answer to that? I did my research before doing this app, okay? As I stated, a life support for people living with HIV. I did not say the app is going to replace the whole ART treatment, okay? Like I used the mobile banking as an example. You can walk into a bank, patronize the services. The app is simply to supplement. So I said integrated with LIMS. LIMS is an ERP used in Ghana. Ghana ART treatment is free. So I'm not buying the drug. No, you are not buying the drug. The app is simply saying that once you are confirmed with HIV, the doctor approves it on the app, just like the way your mobile banking apps are done. You go home, when the doctor wants to make prescription, okay, if you notice, I've already stated that it is going to automatically request for a refill. It's simply requesting. Because the drug is already free, the dispensary, that's the pharmacist, will just give it to a delivery guy to bring it to you. Now, the futuristic aspect of my app is this. If within 6 months, we are having little to no contact of patients to the hospitals, right? When it's time for their viral load test, which is also indicated in virtual nursing here, what is going to happen is once the begins to see that about 1,000 people were not really going to hospitals, but they've been able to reduce their viral loads through this app, they may then say that, okay, for 20 Ghana cedis, as I showed you, each person, maybe the cost of delivery is 20 cedis. Health insurance is going to cover it. Do you understand? And HIV drugs are distributed on a scheduled basis. So if we have 1,000 people, these 1,000 people, we can program it in such a way that they will all have their delivery at a go. So I'm a logistics. So we have something we call pooling, where you try to consolidate transport. So rather than individually delivering it, which is going to cost more, we'll just deliver it at a go. I hope you are following me. So you deliver it at a go, the cost reduces.
Thank you,
Yes.
Kelly. Yeah, so, well, I'm just concerned about the geographical. If you're outside Accra, you have access to no internet. You don't have access to Glovo and all of these delivery companies. How are you going to deliver this solution for people outside?
Yes, so thank you very much. As I stated, the app is not to replace, it's to supplement or complement, okay? So with respect to people in other regions, we can attest to the fact that most HIV patients are the youth. Most youth use smartphones. Most youth have access to internet. So with respect to the delivery, as time goes on, as gradually, a lot of people are using the platform, the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with me and NGOs, can facilitate the registration of transport companies or delivery companies to handle this whole thing. And I'm not looking at HIV alone. I want this to be a breakthrough for the treatment of long-standing illness. As I said, I lost my grandmom to diabetes, which is a long-standing illness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You alone, you have used like 10 minutes for your 3 minutes, but it's okay. It's smart. My question is, well, I had a suggestion, which is opening it up to other diseases. Sure. But my question is about your virtual nursing.
Yes.
I'm one of those people who hates notifications. So by default, if I download an app, I turn off notifications until I'm ready to. I don't want to be a slave to this. How are you going to mitigate for that?
Thank you very much. Now, if we can all see here, it says automatic personalized reminders. It didn't say automatic reminders, personalized. So you can decide that, okay, notify me by vibration. It's available on every smartphone. You can notify by vibration. You can notify by simple pop-ups. You can notify by sounding an alarm. It's personalized. So you get to choose it or modify it to your own comfort, please. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have any other question? Okay, thank you so much.
You're
Good
welcome.
luck.
Thank you.
Please put your hands together for Kelly. Another question would have given him an extra 10 minutes to let you know he has to go to Berlin at all costs. The next presenter pitching in 3 minutes as well is from the University of Education, Winneba. She is a lecturer. Her name is Dr. Mrs. Charity Esenam Ano. She speaks on breaking the wall of unsustainable cooking. I beg your pardon, breaking the wall of unsustainable cooking fuels. Breaking the wall of unsustainable cooking fuels. Please put your hands together for Dr. Mrs. Charity Esenam Ano.
Thank you very much. My name is Charity Esenam Ano from the University of Education, Winneba, and I'm presenting on breaking the wall of unsustainable cooking fuel with the focus on rural communities in Ghana. It has been estimated that by the year 2030, there will be a global access to sustainable and affordable energy. But this looks far from being realized as a significant number of the global population still depend on unsustainable cooking fuel. In our homes, 90% of the energy consumed is as a result of cooking. In Ghana alone, 70% of the rural population still depend on the use of firewood and charcoal. In Africa, as it is presented on the graph, about 50% of deforestation is as a result of the use of firewood and charcoal. This is detrimental to human health and has adverse effect on the climate. Now, biomass in the form of pellets and other compressed form have been added to the list of sustainable fuel. I present to you the solution to this problem using palm chaff briquettes. It is very simple to produce by the ordinary person. It is a byproduct from the production of oil, palm oil. Now, the pounded palm fruit is compressed to express the oil. The byproduct is actually the chaff, which is dried for 2 weeks in the sun without any extra energy from anywhere. In 2 weeks, it is ready for use. Depending on whatever you are using, whatever oven you are using, it is cut into sizable portions, lighted up, and it can be used. It burns effectively. It is affordable. It is accessible. It is easy to produce. It is environmental friendly, and above all, will have a significant impact on reducing the rate of deforestation. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I want to, great presentation, by the way. Who is your target audience, or who are they?
The rural communities in the first place. Then we can carry it out from there. We can move out from there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great presentation. So
thank you.
The first question is how do you package it? And then how do you distribute it? Because you are talking about rural areas where you may have challenges with road networks and the rest. And then how do they store it so that it doesn't get damaged, or maybe they lose the ability to combust?
Okay, again, this, we are getting this from a byproduct, so we can still use other already used product like empty sacks to bag it. Now, this can be made into very sizable portions, depending on whatever you are using to compress it. So you could design the strainers with sort of plates that can divide the byproduct into very sizable portions to be packed. Now, if we even want to make it very attractive for the urban people, because we are still using charcoal in our homes, so if we want to make it very attractive, we could also package it nicely, and then we can sell it to them at a very affordable cost.
So thank you for your presentation. I have a couple of questions, but maybe I'll ask two. Do you take out the kernel? Do you take out the
Yes,
kernel?
please.
Okay. How long does it take, let's say, a kilogram of this to burn? Or like 500 grams of this. How long does it take to burn completely?
How long does it take it to burn?
Yes. Burn away to give you ash. How long?
Okay, interestingly, it burns very efficiently. So actually using specifically 1 kilogram, I haven't measured that, but assuming you are using two sticks of firewood, a sizable one to prepare, let's say, any food, you could use about 250 or 500 grams, not 1 kg, about 500 to do that, because it burns with so much thermal energy.
That's exactly my problem. I can see it as a good tool to light a fire for a longer time, but I can't realistically see cooking even a pot of tomato stew with this, because I'm in an urban area, but I cook with charcoal because I like the flavor. And I use palm chaff like this to light my fire. It doesn't last, you know, so I'm trying to comprehend how this would last. And in addition, we are trying to move, like Kwesi said, we are trying to move away from all of this to better energy sources. You're not really taking care of the carbon dioxide problem because it's still going to produce more carbon dioxide and other fumes.
Please, can I answer? Okay, thank you very much. You remember that when we were young, our grandparents or our parents used the palm chaff to set fire, as you rightly said. But you see, that is in a very loose form. So it burns very quickly. But for this particular one, even the one that is being compressed, the pounded palm fruit that is being compressed was boiled using just about that size divided into 4. About 5 to 10 heads of palm can be boiled using just about dividing that into 4. It is because of the compression. We don't compress it well. You know, when you compress these particles, they just become like wood. The bond between the particles get very tight and close, just like wood. So it would take a lot of time for that to be used up. Unlike those days where you just use your hand to squeeze the juice out of the chaff and then you could just dry it and use it. This is actually compressed. That is why we are saying that it should be in the compressed form. Thank you.
Thank you. So, in the face of modernity and a more sustainable sources of energy and so on, what do you think is the future of your proposal?
The future is very high. You know, as you use these things, you have the opportunity to improve upon this. Now, the first time we used it, the first time we tried it, it produced a lot of smoke. So we realized that we still have a lot of the oil residue in it. So if we are able to extract the oil residue effectively, we will have less smoke being produced. So if it becomes cleaner, the urban population will even venture into it. Because one thing about this is that when it's even burning, the flavor with which that comes with it, it's so nice. That cannot be compared with the ordinary charcoal or firewood. This is actually nice, and I would like you to try it. It's rather unfortunate I didn't bring a sample out. I've given you one to try at home.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone keeps saying environmentally friendly, but no one mentions how. I would like even just one line saying, okay, it does so and so, or reduces it by 60%, so that I can check it myself, right? I wouldn't want to call anyone a liar, but if I could get one stat that says that, oh, it reduces carbon dioxide by this percentage or something, I could then check it myself and see how environmentally friendly it actually is. Do you have something like that for this?
I can back this with data. Now, from the previous slide, 52% of Africa's forest is being depleted by the use of, let me go back to that, by the use of firewood and charcoal. So if I can just produce a source of fuel from palm fruit, which is so economical, you know, for the palm fruit itself, the oil we get from it, the broom we can get from the palm branches and all that. If we can even cultivate the palm plant, that takes only 2 years to mature. If you can do that, and then that will significantly reduce the level of deforestation.
Thank you.
In your process to get the palm fruit, don't you combust, don't you burn? How do you get it?
Okay, this is something like a cycle, eh? I produce fuel, I use it to cook. So it's a cycle. I produce fuel, and I use this fuel to cook. It's a byproduct. So I produce, and I use it. If I want to make another palm oil, I will use the palm chaff to prepare the palm fruit and express my oil from it.
Yes, so in terms of the palm kernel, you know, it comes out in seasons. How do you bridge that gap between the off-season and peak season in
Palm
producing?
kernel.
Yeah,
Palm.
the fruit you are using, it comes out seasonally. So how do you ensure that you have enough?
So this is an avenue for the business people, those who are into mechanized agriculture. That is an advantage because economies are actually thriving on palm plantation. Talk of Malaysia. So if we should have access to palm fruit, then we have other opportunities to ask people to go into the production of this palm fruit. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other question? Okay. Thank you so much, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me remind you that we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube on the channel DAAD Ghana. So please do take note and likely share with your friends so that they know what's going on here. Falling Walls Lab Ghana 2023 is getting exciting. We have 7 more participants, but as we said earlier, we're going to do this in 2 sets. So the last participant for the first set will be joining me on stage shortly. But let me acknowledge the presence of a few distinguished guests amongst us. We have Mr. Dustin Housel from AHK Ghana. Can we give him a big hand? We have Miss Melly Mansu from the Gothe Institute. Can we give her a big hand as well? Can we acknowledge the presence of Mr. Samuel Owuo from the Startup Lounge? Also from Startup Lounge, we have Mr. Rexford Akrong. One of our panelists during our panel discussion is here, Dr. Patrick Arthur from the University of Ghana. Can we give him a big hand? We have Miss Marta Brioni from the EU delegation. Can we give her a hand as well? And a Falling Wall alumnus, I believe from the year 2021, Mr. Bright Tetekwao is also here. Can we see Bright? And lastly, we acknowledge Miss Anna Becker from the German Embassy. Can we give her a big round of applause as well? Let me remind you, friends, that on your name tags, there's a QR code which has the program and also gives you an opportunity to give us feedback. The Falling Walls Lab Ghana wants to get a lot of feedback. You can join the discussion and also share once you scan the code. If you are having difficulties, you can go to slido.com/ and you enter the conference number FWLG23. FWLG23 if you go to the website slido.com. You can make your comments and give your suggestions there as well. So it's an alternative to the QR code. Please do take note of that. Our last participant for the first batch of 6 contestants or 6 presenters is a man from the Eco Warriors movement. It goes without mention that I'm sure his presentation will be environmentally friendly. He speaks on breaking the wall of water wastage. Friends, put your hands together for Thomas Teriaban.
Good morning. My name is Thomas, and I'm going to break the wall on water wastage. When I was in high school, I mostly see poly tanks overflowing day in and day out, and this sometimes results in we not getting access to water on campus. I thought maybe because I didn't get the opportunity to attend a top school, I then managed to get into one of the best universities in West Africa, Ken University, and I was experiencing the same issue. And
looking at our current situation right now, what our water bodies are being polluted by galamsey operations, and it has been estimated that 76% of households in Ghana are at the edge of consuming water containing chemicals. Okay. So, looking at my background as a materials engineer and also someone who is very passionate about the environment, together with a group of students and also scientists, we've developed a tool or a device which act as which uses some form of science principles to check the water level in poly tanks and also reservoirs and also any form of water storage media. Looking at the operations, the system contains our device contains what we call sensors, which actually detects the water level in the form of colors, then transmits or transfer the data into a control unit. The control unit then processes into colors, and when it fills to the topmost part of the tank, it signals a warning, and also uses that signal as a stopping criteria to the pump that we are using. And this reflecting on the impact of this device. This device turn out to reduce or has a higher potential of reducing water wastage, and it gives real-time information about the water level in the tank. In this case, you're actually improving water management when you are transferring or when you are distributing water across tanks to tanks. And I have a short video which actually demonstrates what we actually, the basic operation of our device. So this is when you fill up to the base level where the sensors are. It actually detects and on it, the light on it, giving you the information. And when it gets to the top, it sounds an alarm which sends a feedback to the pump as a stopping criteria. Thank you. My name is Thomas, and this is what we are breaking. Water wastage.
Yeah, Thomas. Nice project. I would want to know how you plan on powering your sensor.
Yes, so we mostly use a power source, which is a battery, or you can use renewable energy, so the solar panel to power it. Okay, for this particular battery, it can take up to 4 days for it to exist. This is like a prototype. We have not actually done with the whole project. So this is a project. So we actually, if you are using a solar panel, right, you actually want to go a longer date. So let's say somewhere close to months before we actually change it. The only thing you need to do is to do maintenance, because when you put the sensors in the water, there will be some form of debris that will be formed on the sensor. You have to remove it and maintain it.
Okay, so have you taken any steps to ensure the reliability of your idea and the accuracy? I think these are the most important things you need to consider.
Yes.
What steps?
So this it actually uses non-reactive materials, which doesn't cause any effect or react to the water. It doesn't react with the water in any form. Okay. And the next thing is when you inject the sensor into it, you have the opportunity to visualize everything. Also have a control unit, which when there is anything going wrong, you have the opportunity to see whatever is going on and you correct it. But when we tested this is actually a prototype. We are not done with the whole thing, and in future we actually want to, what we focus on doing is we want to improve on this or integrate more features so that you see the purity level of the water as well. Okay.
So as it is now, is it affordable?
Yes, very affordable.
Accessible?
We are still working on it, so it hasn't been out yet.
Yeah, I think what you have is a brilliant idea. At least you have demonstrated it. So we can see the video. And my question or comment is that if you think the challenge with the water wastage is the fact that the water overflows in the poly tank, why don't you fix just the last stage of the alarm where the thing beeps for it to warn you that the water has reached its maximum? Why don't you just fix it there than trying to solve all the problems from the way up with different colors?
No, you know, sometimes when you, mostly in our societies, people want to know the rate at which they've consumed water, and also when you are consuming it, you have to know at least I've used half of this and maybe I have to reserve some for different purposes, right? So our focus, our top priority is to solve the water wastage problem without, we don't want the water to overflow. But there are some issues that we also have to address with it. That's why like I said earlier on, we are trying to also improve on it so that it can detect the purity of the water as well.
Yeah, for me, I think that if the idea is simple enough, it solves the problem. So if the same device, right, if you fix at the top when it's overflowing, it beeps, you can fix one down when it comes to the bottom. It's the same problem. Right? It makes fixing and mounting and, configuring it simpler than trying to put levels or layers, at every point, give you different colors. But I think it's a very brilliant idea.
Sure. We take that into consideration as well.
I'm sorry. Let me just ask one more. Okay, Thomas, the impact of this, right? As at now, I'm supposed to score you on impact, but I can't really give a measurement of it. You didn't really show me how much impactful it will be, as in it will reduce water wastage by this amount or this amount, right?
Yeah.
Your system, as I'm sitting here now, your system is good for gathering data on water usage. I won't lie to you.
Okay.
It is good on gathering data on water usage, but the impact for stopping water wastage is what we are debating now.
Okay. Okay.
You want to make a comment to what you said?
Yes. So for now, we don't actually, since you have not been able to commercialize, like you have to start the whole thing. With regards to your question or your feedback, we don't have enough data. Exactly. Yes.
Have you had a look at these technologies in the market already? I think Polytech has one and many other tank companies. Have you looked at it? How different is theirs from this?
So from my research and also the team's research, the one that we saw wasn't even in the country, right? They use a sense, like it's similar to this one, but the idea is it's not easily like portable. You don't have to like easily move from one point to you can't move from one point to another. And also you don't have the ability to set up in most of the storage system that you're having. In case you're using a poly tank, you can use it. But when you're having like a wall or something, you can't use it for that one. These are some of the things that our own is very different from versatile and adaptability. So.
Terry, thank you for your presentation. I'm wondering, whatever happened to the bulb? You know that bulb that you have in your WC at home?
Yes.
Isn't it supposed to do the same thing? So whatever happened to it? I'm a little bit old school in my thinking. Well, I haven't said this. Let me just start by saying it's a fantastic idea.
Okay.
Because it's futuristic. However, in the same vein of being futuristic, I'm looking at a world where we don't need polytanks anymore. And then what? Okay, that's one. Two, why fix something which is not broken? We have a bulb which doesn't use battery, it doesn't use electricity, it doesn't use anything. When the water level rises to a certain point, it just cuts the flow of water. Is there a way you can engineer the connection between that bulb to your tank, your pump, so that then your pump doesn't pump anymore? That I can see as being applicable, because if you can use the bulb which is cheap, which doesn't use any battery source, if you by all means want to use battery or power, why don't you then just channel that power into telling the bulb to give a signal to the pump to to shut down or something. But why fix something which is not broken? I've asked like 10 questions. But
Okay, that.
Thomas. Well, I have an experience with having to pay more in utilities because of overflow of my. I power it with a borehole, and I find your proposal quite interesting. Maybe you might want to, in your indication of the impact and relevance, probably extend the argument to the cost savings that comes with the utilities. That is if you are powering it. Then, of course, now that there are hikes in some of these utility prices, probably to bring more to the table if you use that argument. My question is, how would you adapt it to the existing polytank, either polytank or syntax? Assuming I have that already installed, and I want to deploy some of this technology, practically, how is it going to be?
So we actually have a team of engineers that are going to help with the installation of the whole thing. So since it's a sensor, you have to actually insert the sensor into your poly tank. And that one comes with some form of technicality. You have to be experienced a little bit before.
Okay, come on, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are done with the first part of the pitches. The next 6 will come after our break. But can we give a big hand to our jury? It should be noted that they are doing this purely on a gratis basis. They are not being paid. They've taken time and sacrifice to be here. So they deserve another round of applause. Let me hasten to add that at the main Falling Walls Lab event in Berlin, there are no questions asked. So you get the chance to just deliver in 3 minutes and you are done, and then the jury will judge you. But we want to understand the concept they are bringing on board, and that's why the jury had to ask questions. But at the main event, there are no questions asked. At this point, we'll be taking a break and doing 2 things. One, we are going to take a group photograph outside, so that's the first thing we'll do. We'll march out in 1 queue, go take the photograph, and then we'll climb up to go and have breakfast. So please do note that this will all be done in 25 minutes, and we'll be back here to continue with our second set of presenters. Is that fine? Are you having a good time, by the way? Then please put your hands together for yourselves. You're doing well. And indeed, we'll be back here shortly. So let's quickly go out, take the group photograph, and go for breakfast. Thank you. Okay, a few quick announcements as we wait for the rest of the panel and the jury to join us. During the main event, the lab finale in Berlin in November, it should be noted that every presenter has 3 minutes to give their pitch and also be asked questions. Let me just be clear. In 3 minutes, you do all at once. So it's very quick. That's how it works. So today, the jury are being very generous to you. So take advantage of it and explain. But whoever wins has to prepare to give a pitch and answer questions in 3 minutes if they make it to Berlin in November this year. Also, I had to give a quick correction while introducing Christoph Roverkamp. He is Professor Doctor, not Mr. So please pardon me for that error. Is everyone in? Is our jury ready? Okay. Now I want to do something very quick. Can I please humbly ask everyone to stand to their feet? I think that the breakfast has made everyone a little dull. Can we do like we did when we were young? If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I'm looking at Prof. I'm just going to say, if you're happy and you know, give a jump. If you're happy and you know it, give a jump. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, kindly fill the first 3 rows and leave the back. So please move forward. I don't want anyone seated at the back. We want all the front rows to be filled. We are shooting live on Facebook and YouTube, and it's going to be watched all the way in Germany, so we want to get it right. Please move to the front, move to the front. Apart from the reserved seats, everyone can sit anywhere. If there's an empty seat in front of you, please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Move to the front. Move to the front. Thank you. There's so much. There's one more here. Are we set? There should be no seat in front of you, fine gentlemen. Or there are people seated there. Okay, got you. Got you. Is everyone set now? Our technical people, I'm waiting for your green light, but I need to also let you know, Professor Dr. Roverkamp was kind enough to give us the background as to what Falling Walls stand for. But the concept is written out very clearly. It says the Falling Walls Foundation was founded, the Falling Walls Foundation founded Falling Walls Lab in 2011 to do 5 things. 1, connect aspiring innovators. 2, discover and develop talents. 3, support interdisciplinary dialogue and international cooperation. 4, develop new ways of scientific communication. And 5, build new and strong networks. So that's what we are here to do. So at a certain point, we'll break away again and network and do take someone's phone number, get in touch with them on social media. Let's build a community of people who are breaking barriers, breaking walls, and not limited by any kind of restriction. Are you with me? Oh, come on, put your hands together for yourselves. Falling Walls, indeed, is built on a strong backbone, a strong foundation, and we could tell Prof got even emotional talking about it. Are my technical people set with me? Super. So the next set of presenters are ready. So the first 6 delivered, and the next 6 are here. Are you ready for the next 6 presenters? Oh, come on, if you're ready, give me a yeah. Alrighty. The next presenter is all the way from Ashesi University, and he speaks on breaking the wall of low grain yield in Africa. Come on, put your hands together and join me. Welcome Timothy Asari. Please give him a big round of applause.
My name is Timothy. I'm here to present to you on breaking the wall of low green crop yield in sub-Saharan Africa. 300 million. That's the number of people governments have been importing over $2 billion worth of food annually. And yet, by 2050, our population is going to increase, tripling our demand for food and also resulting in more need for food and higher imports. And yet, our most climate-resilient crops, grains, only have 30% of the global yield rate. It begs the question, what can we do? In our research with farmers and in our interaction with them, we realized that over 90% of grain crop production is done using manual labor. The inconsistencies of this result in over 60% loss in grain crops due to emergence and seeding issues. Our solution to this is to develop a 5-row precision seeder which features sequentially arranged components that allow for seamless planting. We also have a computer-controlled seed metering and depth control mechanism for accurate seed metering and depth control, which result in improved yields. Again, our solution requires low power and technical know-how, making it just fit for low and medium-scale farmers. We make all these accessible to the farmers through a business model that is feasible and allows even the poorest of farmers to be able to access it. Our solution seeks to improve medium-scale acreage by 28%, which will result in $2,500 increase in their farm revenue on a yearly basis. For small-scale farmers, a 31% increase ensures that there is an increase in farm revenue by a little under $900 per year. Across the sub-region, we are looking at doubling the current production rate per hectare. All these solutions would go a long way to ensure that we are providing sustainable livelihood and alleviating poverty for our 37 million target farmers in the sub-Saharan region. Again, we are looking at alleviating hunger through improved grain crop production. And last but not the least, because our technology is fully developed by us, we are looking at encouraging industrial and innovation research here on the continent. Thank you.
Right, so great presentation. I wanted to find out why you titled your low yield instead of improved yield.
The wall we are breaking is the low grain yield.
Right.
That is the wall that we are breaking.
Right.
But if we wanted to term it in a different way, then it would have been improving the grain crop production in sub-Saharan Africa. But because we are breaking a wall, we are breaking the wall of low grain crop yield.
Okay. Have you piloted it before?
No, so we are currently in our prototyping phase, and we have built a few of the components. By August, to have completed our first model and begun testing on actual farms.
All right, thank you.
So I want you to speak more about how your proposed mechanized automation precision planter address the cost issue farmers face.
All right. So the current innovations in terms of mechanization, particularly for planting, are usually targeted at very large-scale farmers. So John Deere is one of the big names in the agri-mechanization space, but their devices are big and require a lot of capital to be able to use them. So we understand that many small-scale farmers do not have the funds to purchase our device outright. So what we are doing is that we are providing a model where they can own the solution, but over a certain period. So we have a high purchase agreement with them where we rent it out. It's included in their input, and we only take our cost at the end of the planting season when they have monies to pay.
Okay, so actually up until now that I'm seeing your video, I know it's not the breakfast, but I was completely lost because I was trying to picture what you were saying, and the images on the bottom don't really do a good justice of it. And now, beyond your 3 minutes, I now see what is going on. And it's a concern for me if I follow you for 2 minutes and all I'm hearing is numbers and statistics, which really doesn't connect with your core project or your core proposal. So it's worrying, and I'm raising it here.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm interested in getting some clarity on what would drive the increase in yield production.
Okay.
And you would also agree that, I mean, for most farmers, when there's bumper harvest, it rather drive the prices down, and they rather struggle with getting consider these dynamics and its profitability.
Yes. So it's a very good point you raised with the increase in production and then the corresponding cost. So we have noticed that, but we have also found that overall, the current planting mechanisms that are in place, I'll address the first problem. So because of how maize is planted currently, it results in uneven emergence of the seeds when it's time to germinate. But what our solution does is that it provides a uniform germination or emergence for all the seeds that are planted, provided the seeds are viable. And so that allows for that increase in production. On the aspect of how it will drive down the cost, for now we are looking at addressing the shortage in the market, because due to the lack of grain in the market currently, like soya and maize itself, it has driven the price way above what is the standard market price. And by improving production, it would actually bridge that barrier that we have.
So the improved yield concept that you want to project.
Yes.
Is it as a result, the low yield, is it as a result of spacing between the plants, or soil condition, or the variety of the crop, the grain that they grow?
So all those are factors that affect production at the end of the day. But from our research, we realized that up to 60% of the grain crop loss is due mainly to spacing and emergence issues. So that is what we are addressing currently. With regard to variety, different varieties have different yield rates. So that is another facet of the problem. But the facet of the problem that we are addressing currently is what is causing 60% of loss in grain crops, and that is emergence and spacing.
Yeah, so from your idea, what is the percentage? Emergence and then the spacing.
Okay.
Out of the 60%,
so
is it a greater balance of spacing as compared to the emergent problems, or vice versa?
All right, so our research was more comprehensive. It encompassed both. And so we haven't looked at them in terms of individual characteristics, but together it's 60% of the issue that we have.
Thank you. Any other question?
Do you have any partners that you are looking at who would help you in this? I don't like reinventing the wheel, and so if there's a point in your business module where someone is already doing, let me put it that way, do you have a fair idea if there's a point where you would find a business to partner with in solving this?
Okay, so we have identified a few partners. And I think I will circle back to the question you asked earlier. So there are other companies in the agri value chain who handle, for example, post-harvest technologies. So those are people that are potential partners that will help the farmers in addressing pricing issues. That was the part that I wanted to add based on the partnerships question you're asking. Also, because of the technical requirements in setting up, what we expect is that in operating the machine itself, you require very little to no technical know-how. But in setting it up, we are planning on having...
The next presenter in 3 minutes speaks on breaking the wall of hazards and child labor. And he's from Husk Technologies. Put your hands together for John Adefio.
Hi everyone, my name is John and I'm the founder of Hask Technologies. We are an agri-tech company that manufactures agricultural machinery and also provides software solutions for cocoa farmers in West Africa. So our journey began during our market research in Goso, where we met Yao. He's a teenage boy.
Hold on. The timer. I want to be.
Okay, sure.
Okay, over.
Hi everyone, my name is John and I'm the founder of Hask Technologies. We are an agri-tech company that manufactures agricultural machinery and also provides software solutions for cocoa farmers in West Africa. So our journey began in Goso, during our market research, where we met Yao. He's a teenage boy who manages his aged mother's cocoa farm. He aspires to live a very happy and stress-free life. However, he's frustrated by cutlass and spinal injuries, high cost of labor, and then losses in bean quality. However, these frustrations aren't just peculiar with Yao. So according to ARPN Journal, 75% of farmers suffer from various hazards and injuries. Also, 77% of cocoa farmers rely on external labor. However, there's competition from other sectors leading to a shortage and then high cost of labor. Our solution to this problem is quite simple. So it's a solar-powered automatic mobile cocoa pod breaking machine that separates the cocoa beans from the husk and placenta, thereby reducing labor by 85%, maximizing productivity by over 700%, and eliminating farm hazards totally. Our machine has the capacity to break over 7,000 pods per hour. It's very easy to build, maintain, and operate as well. It can maneuver through different farm terrains. It can run on lithium batteries, and then also it's twice cheaper than our Chinese competitors. Our target markets are cocoa cooperative unions, women farmer organizations, and then farm machinery owners as well. We make money basically by selling our machine spare parts and then repairs and maintenance services. Our traction so far, we've been in a one-year investor readiness program with Cosmos Innovation Centre. We've also raised about $20,000 in cash and kind investment from South Family Foundation and Care International. And then also through partnership, we've been able to secure 200 pre-orders of our machine valued at $500,000 from the Sinafo North cooperatives. So this begs the question, why are we doing this now? So over a century of producing cocoa in Africa, our technology is non-existent on the African market at the moment. Also, for our machine requires 2 operators. Therefore, for every unit we sell, we'll be creating 2 new jobs for rural youth and women as well. And then also by powering our machine with lithium batteries, we're also promoting the use of electric vehicle charging system in rural communities as well. But more importantly, they estimated over 1.3 million children still involved in child labor, and this will continue to persist if we don't step in now. So this is why we're asking you to give us the opportunity to go to Berlin to meet with potential investors, so together we can break the walls of hazards and child labor. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just want you to take note of this.
Okay.
That your solution isn't related to just kids. It
Yes.
also helps the farmers themselves, even if they are not kids.
Definitely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should take note of that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why kits are found on farms
Mm-hmm.
often is because it is cheap,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I just want to know how cheap using your solution is.
Mm-hmm.
That will drive a farmer to use this instead of getting a kit.
It could charge probably in bags per bag. So to make things simple, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size of your cocoa, as long as you bring people there, you have to feed them. Feeding them on average costs between 200 and 500 cedis. But with this technology, farmers can have a service based on the number of sacks they want to break. So for instance, a bag could cost, let's say, 20 cedis, and if you have just, let's say, 5 bags, all you have to do is just pay for that 5 bags, and that's it. So basically, that's how it answers your question. Yeah.
If you could go back one slide, I'm trying. So you can put more than 1 cocoa pod in the machine, right?
So this is actually our first. We've got 3 models so far. This is actually our second model, but my third model that we currently have.
Want to keep continuously feeding and then picking up after it's broken.
Yeah. So the new model uses a funnel. So all you have to do is just pour the pots inside. So you fetch the pots into a basket and you pour it into the funnel, and then the braking mechanism crushes it.
So how do you retrieve the pulp?
They come into this sieve, and then it separates the beans down, and then the pods roll out. Sorry, they roll out to the other end of the machine.
The pulp rolls out to the end?
Yeah, the pods. It rolls out to this end of while the seeds fall down to the side. Yeah.
Okay, at first I want to know if you consulted some experts and the farmers in the course of the development process, and also have you considered the design aspect and then the adaptation to fit West African markets? Was that considered too?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, to answer your first question, yes, we did consult. We actually did market research, pre-market research, where we spoke to farmers, cooperative unions as well. We went to the farms, we went to Mankraso and a whole lot of farming communities to talk to them, basically to do exactly what you're asking us to do, see how our design can fit into the farming communities as well. So that answers that answers what we did to consult. Yes. So basically, so there's a Chinese product, cocoa. What they have is quite huge, and it requires like very huge generators, and that makes it very difficult to take it through farms. So that's why we built something very simple and much easier. We actually built it to fit the size of an aboboya. An aboboya basically it's a machine that can easily go through any farm. So basically, the whole concept was to fit in an aboboya so it can actually move to any farm at all.
Do you use electricity?
So we have 3 different power models. We have the first one uses an engine powered by fuel, and then there's also the current model that we have uses either solar batteries or lithium batteries.
Okay, John, good luck.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you very much, John Adefio from Husk Technologies. It's getting pretty interesting. The next presenter is from the University of Cape Coast and speaks on breaking the wall of farmers not getting help. Please put your hands together for Bright Eduji Gerson.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Bright, and I'm doing this presentation on behalf of Planted from the University of Cape Coast. Agriculture is the backbone of many developing countries, and with that in mind, we hope to end food hunger in 2030. But this is becoming impossible because 40% of the food produced annually, which amounts to 220 billion, is lost to crop disease alone, among other factors such as unavailability of extension officers. Anecdotal evidence estimates that the ratio of farmers to extension officers in Ghana is 1 to 5,000. This is a very thick wall in the life of our Ghanaian farmers, and we hope to break that wall by providing our farmers with a smartphone that is going to help them detect crop disease and provide them seamless accessibility to extension services. Here is the catch. With advances in natural language processing, we hope to implement this app in our local language so that the average Ghanaian farmer can use. The app offers multiple benefits to the farmers, which include faster disease detection and seamless connection to extension services. And we identify that there are competitors in this space, but our competitive advantage over them is that we provide farmers easy access to extension service, and our app works in the local language. And as product developers, we hope to be impactful by helping farmers increase their productivity by 30%, creating jobs, and working to achieve the second sustainable development goal. To achieve this, we've collaborated and partnered with this amazing institution who collectively offer us technical and entrepreneurial support in order to do this. And because we have the farmer in mind, we are engaging the farmers from the start of the product to the end. So this is a community, in this picture, it's a community engagement we have with some farmers at Ekumfi to understand the veracity of the problems. Lower down here is us on the farm, trying to understand the farmers to the minimum so that we can create a solution that perfectly fits the farmers, not to create a solution in isolation for the farmers. We are hoping to break the wall of farmers not getting help, and we hope you are there with us. Thank you very much.
Do you know Farmer Line?
Yeah, I know Farmer Line.
Okay, how different is your solution from what they have?
Okay, so Farmer Line uses a USSD. So you call and you get feedback. But this, we want to collect enough, describing items is different based on individuals. I can describe an item to you. That's not what it actually is. So we are bringing this up to collect enough data so that the extension officer can give proper feedback to the farmer to help solve the problem.
So it's an app?
Yes, please.
And you said it's going to be in local language?
Yes.
What if they cannot read the local language?
No, so there's so the farmer interacts with the app with the voice. So if you cannot read, you can interface with the app just by speaking to the app.
Okay, so they are supposed to take pictures.
Yes.
And then hopefully some extension officer who is connected on the app is going to see it and give a diagnosis.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
So that's just one point. Because farmers engage with extension officers from planting to harvesting, we hope to link the farmers to the extension officers so that any question they have, any problem they are facing on their farms, they can ask through the app. Because when we went to this community, they said an extension officer has never set foot in the community. We met the chief farmer there. He said he's been farming for the past 50 years, and he has never seen an extension officer in his community before. So with this, we can provide all the services they need, from new planting implements, new planting techniques, and anything they need.
Okay, so thank you, Ediji. Can you kindly go back to the solution you are preferring? Okay, so my question is, you noted it's going to work largely on smartphones.
Yeah.
And what level of smartphone? And do you think rural folks would be able to have this?
Yes. So in Ghana currently, the percentage of rural folks using smartphone is 44.8%. And we've seen that when you visit social media, TikTok and the likes, you see these rural folks creating content every day. So it means the smartphone is reaching them at a higher speed. And we are leveraging on that to send the solution to them.
I see this as ML, right? I see this as ML, let me say AI.
Yeah.
Now, my confusion here is, one aspect of the solution talks about they take the picture, they send it to your training model, where you are taking the initial data, the person does the categorization, and then you have data that, okay, when you see this picture, it is this. When you see this picture, it is this. That is your training model. Before
That
you come
is
to
one of our training models. So we've actually collected data. Kara Agro is in Ghana here. They've done some data collection on plant diseases. We have that data set. Makarari in Uganda have also done some collection. So we have all those data we are using to train our ML model.
Okay, good. So what I wanted to ask is, so what exactly is your app doing? Is it doing the diagnosis, or it is doing the data collection? That is the
It is doing the diagnostics.
The diagnostics,
yes.
Okay. And then you talk about job creation. I think you would have to note that if you are creating an app, you're actually taking the job away from the extension officer. And so if you squeeze in job creation, it kind of contradicts what exactly you are doing.
Okay, so currently, so as I stated earlier, they fill that gap to reduce the burden on the extension officers. If one person is serving 5,000 people, you could imagine the stress he goes through. We went to one community. It takes by motorbike 45 minutes to get to the community. And an extension officer told us that he won't ride his motorbike 45 minutes just to go to one community a day and not go anywhere again. So he would rather visit the nearest community officer.
I presume this has already been piloted, right?
Yes.
Okay, so have you considered the cost associated with using the mobile app? And how do you plan to make it affordable for these farmers?
Okay, so the app is free. When you download it, it's free. You only pay a little amount when you connect to an extension officer. And we are estimating between 2 and 5 CDs per interaction. So in a day, we don't, if you interact with the extension officer, you pay that fee. So you can do the interaction just that day, and you pay that fee.
Do you have online, offline capabilities?
So in our roadmap, we plan to implement that, but this is the point we've gotten on our roadmap, and this is what we are doing.
This is just adding to it. And so, can you tell me about the model for your local language? The NLP you talked about for your local language.
The NLP?
Yes. The natural language processing you mentioned for your local language. Just give me a fair idea of what you are doing now.
A fair idea of
the structure of that, right?
Okay, so it's speech to text. So we have our NLP model, which collects the speech in the local language. Then with the model, it transcribes it into text. Then that text is then converted into English letters and fed into the app. So I don't know, the chain is like that. Mm-hmm.
Is at a very basic stage.
Yeah.
And so if you are adding it to an already working AI module, your app now has 2 AI modules in there. The crop identification or crop disease detection, and then the local language, right? And so I just want you to get a view of the capacity, or I should say the
complexity.
Yes, the complexity of what you are building.
Okay.
So just have that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Good luck. Thank you very much, Bright Edgy Gershon from the University of Cape Coast. Next, we have Ali Eliesu, and he is from Africa Center for Energy Policy. He speaks on breaking the wall of quarry monitoring. Please let's give him a big round of applause as he steps forward to make his pitch. I would also ask our jury to be very brief with their questions and speak into the microphone as loud as possible so we can pick up the feed. Thank you very much. So, Ali, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to talk to you very passionately about a material that is very essential in our everyday lives, but very easily taken for granted. I refer to quarries, the sand, stones, and rock particles that form the bedrock for constructing our homes and offices, roads and highways, schools and hospitals. In developing economies such as Africa and Ghana, demand for quarries is bound to increase to meet critical infrastructural needs. But there is a problem. According to a study done by the Africa Center for Energy Policy, in 2018, whereas government tax revenue receipt from quarry companies was only about 7 million Ghana cedis, the actual revenue potential from the sector, from a small sample that we did, was in excess of 109 million Ghana cedis. This challenge is similar across many resource-rich developing economies. We are breaking the walls of quarry monitoring using satellite technology. What we have done is access commercial satellite images of quarry sites. Then we employ a technique called differential SAR interferometry. Not to bother you about the technicalities, but essentially what we are able to do with this technique is process the images and determine the changes in landscape and volume of quarries on a site between 2 given time intervals. This is used as proxy for how much quarries have been lifted by the company and sold. We host this data on a costume platform in a reader-friendly format and grants regulatory authorities such as the GRA. So I was really excited to see that there's a government representative on the panel. We grant them access to this, which arms them to independently verify production volumes filed by the companies for optimal taxation. With this solution, we are able to generate at least $10 million of additional tax revenues per year. This is more than enough to vaccinate all children in Ghana against vaccine-preventable childhood diseases for 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I call on you to join us in breaking the walls of query monitoring. Thank you.
So are you working for government?
So I'm with the Africa Centre for Energy Policy. It's a think tank that is ensuring equitable and sustainable utilization of our natural resources. We are all familiar with these issues in the natural resource governance space. Africa loses trillions of dollars every year. What has come to become known as the resource curse. Some of these are through channels like this. So I'm with the Africa Centre for Energy Policy. Our client is government regulatory authorities. So essentially complementing and ensuring strengthening institutional capacity of resource endowed developing economies.
Thank you.
So again, correct, you are building an app.
Yes, so not a mobile-based app per se, but what we are doing is providing a web-based platform that gives the regulatory authority data, very up-to-date and accurate data on the actual production volumes that have been lifted off the quarries across the country. This arms them to apply the appropriate taxations. Maybe I need to walk through a bit on how the taxes are usually collected.
No, that's not part of your 3 minutes.
Right.
I'm trying to understand your system.
Yeah.
From your first picture to your second picture.
Yeah.
So you're literally getting information from satellite images.
Yes.
You're putting that in some sort of algorithm to figure out how much volume has been picked.
Exactly, yes. So what happens is we are basing on depletion ratios. So currently what happens is that the government would wait for the companies to file their production volumes. Based on this, they apply the taxes. Now what happens is there is huge underreporting going on within the sector.
Yeah.
Right. So what we are doing
don't go
is
downstream. I understand. I'm trying to see how different your whole concept is from government employing someone to sit down and just look at Google Earth images.
exactly. So
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if government employs someone to look at Google Earth yesterday, today, will they be able to get that same kind of information?
they wouldn't be able to get that same kind of information. Yes. So what happens is there are concessions. All right. If you look at Google images, you may be able to tell maybe a change in landscape, but it wouldn't be able to tell you the actual volume of material, the depleted material of that site, which is very essential, especially when you are talking about money. You want to make sure that your SAR interferometry is based on SAR data. What it means is that even in the night or when it is very cloudy, the satellite images can still be extracted. And this is important because quarries usually operate in the night, and most of the mining activities would want to still go on operating in the night. Now, the status quo is government places people at the sites. The commodity price of whatever material that is being produced from a particular site and the volume are the key variables that are used to determine the tax liabilities, right? So the SAR actually gives you the information on the type of mineral that is being lifted and also the volume of liftings. We are working with the Earth Observation Research and Innovation Centre of the University of Energy and Natural Resources to develop
my premises. How do you make sure that you factor that in, not just the trucks that are moving out? Because I can hit the thing there and the image will show that the product is still there. Now, government can only get taxes from me after I have sold the product, right? So if I give it on credit and the image shows that I've moved the resources from there, how are you going to detect all that?
Exactly. So just to clarify, our system is not based on truckloads that leaves the field. All right? That's exactly the problem we had with the existing system. What we are doing is based on, so if you ask if you have a stockpile of quarries on a field, for instance. Now, if you have a stockpile, it doesn't change the volume of quarry material. You can shift the stockpile to a different place, but it doesn't change the volume within the concession. So the system is not going to mistakenly, misdiagnose.
We are running out of time. We're running out of time, so make your answer.
So, yes, so in terms of how we access the images, we are working also with Tre Altamira, which is the largest satellite provider in the mining sector across the world. Now, they have commercial access to satellite images. These are not free, right? They are usually sold, so the more area you purchase, the lower the cost. Now, within a 50 by 50 meter square, you can get image for as low as $70, right? So if you are considering several quarries, this is diminishingly lower than what government is investing in manually counting truckloads, which is not effective.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Anyway, thank you so much. I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali Eliasu from Africa Center for Energy Policy. The next presenter is Ms. Dorcas Asari. She is from the University of Ghana, so she's on her home turf. She's speaking on breaking the wall of financial non-inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a big round of applause.
There are over 36 million visually impaired globally. And have you ever wondered how they access financial services or use the ATM? The disability community suffers a lot when it comes to financial access, of which the visually impaired is not left out. Amma is visually impaired, and she wants to use the ATM. She asks Kay to assist her to the ATM. Later, she goes to the market and realizes that the money does not add up. She confronts Kay, and Kay tells her that she's irresponsible for being blind. Amma decides to go to the ATM herself and spends over 40 minutes trying to familiarize herself with it, at the inconvenience and expense of other customers who rain insults on her. She's vulnerable, sad, and frustrated, but she still wants to do her transactions alone. The solution then is CashAid, a mobile application which will help Amma to do her transactions independently without the help of Kay. CashAid will leverage on negotiations between various banks, stakeholders, and experts that will write out the various requirements and blueprints in order for the app to function perfectly. So after everything is done and the app is ready to be rolled out, when Amma wants to go to the ATM stand, what she has to do is that she logs onto the CashAid app, she inputs her password, then she will access the GPS, which will show her all the available ATM machines within her vicinity. The ATM will direct her to the ATM stand. Then, when she gets there, she must connect to the ATM, and so she keys in her password and access the machine and do her transaction. The only work that the ATM would have to do is to give her a receipt if she opts for it and her money. There have been the bureau system, and there has also been the token ATM, but the bureau system, ladies and gentlemen, Amma would still have to maneuver around in order to access the ATM. The token ATM along the line stops. It means that someone must come and help her. But CashAid, she's already familiarized with her phone. It's going to be easy for her to use it. Also, CashAid is cardless. She doesn't need her ATM. Sighted people would be able to access the CashAid app, because we wouldn't need the card. And also, if you get to a particular location and you want to use the ATM, just log on to CashAid. You will see the available ATM stands to do your transactions. CashAid also have a special feature on it, which is the Resate, and it will help people with hearing impaired be able to talk with customer services in the bank. With CashAid, we will collaboratively be able to bridge the gap between the visually impaired and the sighted persons in our community.
Thank you so much, Dorcas.
Yes.
But you realize that there's an increasing call for cashless society.
Yes.
We're asking everybody to use less of cash and go digital. So I'm wondering the future of your proposal, if you can convince us about the future.
Okay. So honestly speaking, I am someone who have been in the environment with people who are visually impaired, and I see the trauma they go through in these things. They want to be included in society. And so if the time has come, we must also make sure that they are included in everything we are doing and not left out. Yes, the cashless economy is coming on, but I believe it will take some time. So while it lacks, we can also do something to help them to be included and not left out at all.
Any question? Thank you very much. I think I find it really interesting. But a bit still, if you could, how do you think they would maneuver or find their way around a phone?
Okay.
Like, if you can share more light on
Yes.
that. That's what
So
is baffling me.
the visually impaired has an app which helps them translate various text to speech. I have a visually impaired here, and he can do everything that you do. Call somebody, text somebody, post everything on social media and the rest. They're already familiarized with the app. And if you're in the University of Ghana and you're close to these people, you realize that they can actually do everything by themselves. So with the GPS on it, if she has to use an Uber or anything, she can order it. And you see, there are apps that they have on their phone. The moment she logs onto the app, she doesn't have to do anything because the app is already incorporated. So it just automatically translates everything that is happening on the app to speech for the person in order to be able to get access.
How do you plan to collaborate with banks, and how easy will it be?
Yes, it's not going to be easy because we've tried. We tried talking to EcoBank, and it's not been easy, but they are quite fascinated. The UN too is also on that journey to help financial inclusion. So what they told us that we have to bring out a proposal that will show everything. So when we sit down with the experts and various NGOs and stakeholders that will be willing to help, the banks are willing to come on board to also be involved in everything that we do.
Okay, so if a visually impaired person goes to the ATM,
yes,
usually they are accompanied by a sighted person.
Yes.
So why can't the sighted person withdraw the money for the impaired, the visually impaired?
I meet some of my friends who are visually impaired, and they will tell you my money is gone. I went to the Momo vendor, I went to this person, everything is gone. The trust issue. You see, Kay is telling her she's irresponsible for being blind. She wants to do it herself. You see, sometimes when you're doing something and someone is on you, it's not that nice. They want to have that feel, they want to have that experience and be part of the community.
Yeah. Is it free?
He said? Yes, we seek to do some collaboration with the bank. It could be an API. You see, it can be incorporated into the various banks' apps, and every visually impaired will be able to access it as long as the bank with that particular. Please, he said.
How do you make your money?
How do we make money? We seek to help. Yes, we still have to sustain it. So basically, what they would have to do is that the bank would also leverage on the various fees, small amounts of fees that they are going to charge. So maybe if Amma wants to use the ATM within a month, she would have to pay something like $10 the whole month, to be able. That is what we seek to do. And it's not just Ghana. We hope that in the future there will be other collaborations with the help of you and other international organizations. We take it out to various countries, and our brothers and sisters there would be able to assist.
Thank you, Dorcas. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are running against time, so please pardon me, members of the jury. Quickly, let's invite Edem Kwame Bequain. And he is from this center. So this is more than home for him. He's from the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens. And
good afternoon. My name is Edem Bokwe, presenting on breaking the wall of antimicrobial resistance. Now, imagine a situation where you are going to war. You get to the battlefield, your weapons are ineffective against them. And that's the whole situation of antimicrobial resistance. So the microorganisms develop resistance to the drugs that are supposed to kill them or stop them from growing. Now, this is a global healthcare concern caused by the misuse and overuse of antimicrobial drugs. An example is amoxicillin. So most people, when they have common cold or flu, they just go to the pharmacy over the counter and want amoxicillin. Although the cold is caused by a viral infection, and this causes the body to develop resistance to the antibiotics. So there might be a time where you need it, but it won't work for you. And this poses significant challenges to healthcare, leading to longer and more complicated illnesses, increased mortality rates, and higher healthcare costs. And you can see the statistical overview of the consequence of AMR worldwide. So you see that about 480,000 dies every 9 minutes due to an infection from antibiotic-resistant bacteria. So the solution, so natural products derived from plants, marine organisms, and microorganisms have been a valuable source of novel compounds with antimicrobial properties. Now, these compounds possess unique chemical structures and mechanisms that effectively target and kill resistant microbes. So my model organism was Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which causes pneumonia. So you see, there's only one standard antibiotic that works against the resistant strain of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which is dentamicin. But my experiments went with fungal cultures with the addition of supplements. This showed that there's the generation of bioactive molecules which have activity against resistant strains of fungi. So you can see the red dot indicates the control. So it was just the fungi with growth media, and there was no bioactivity. But once supplements were added, it generated bioactivity against the organism. And this is important because you need to be able to generate bioactive compounds that will be used to make drugs so that you don't have the problem of antibiotic resistance. So the research into developing antimicrobial agents against resistant strain using natural products will help tackle the issue of antimicrobial resistance, potentially leading to the development of new treatments for a range of diseases. Thank you.
Homeboy, Adam.
This is very confusing for me as a tech person. I just want to know, is this novel? No one has done this.
No, so it's generation of novel compounds with supplements. So there's standard work with show that I added supplements. So I had calcium supplements, so eggshells, seashells, things obtained from nature, added them to the cultures, and they produce novel compounds which were active against resistant strains.
So I just want to know, is it something that you have come up with?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You've come up with this to cure a particular disease?
No, so it's based on a general analogy that because fungi with the addition of supplements produce bioactive molecules, this will go a long way in curbing the problem of antimicrobial resistance, because you go to the pharmacy, you buy an antibiotic for something you're suffering from, so let's say pneumonia, but you take the antibiotic for 2 days and it's no longer working, you're not getting better. But these bioactive compounds are already active against resistant strains, not susceptible strains, so they work. That's the whole concept. Sure.
So your problem was that people take the antibiotics often, and so your body
develops resistance.
Resistance, right? So what is going to stop them from taking your new thing?
But so my new thing is already active against resistant strains. So there's no
so situation even if they take it every day.
Yes, there's no situation where you develop resistance to it because it's already against resistant strains.
Have you tested it?
Yes, please.
Who certified it?
Who certified it?
Yes.
So I had the graph there to show. This is the susceptibility profile. So we measure the zone of inhibition with the antibiotic, the fungi. Then we see that it inhibits the growth. So we have 10. But when I had my cultures, you see that you have 14, 16. So it inhibits the growth of the fungi. The evidence is there clearly.
So where did you test it? Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Where did I test it? I work in a lab. So it's a research lab. So yeah, we did an experiment and tested it.
Just so that I get clarity. So it's going to be a product, like a drug product that you
yes, so you generate the bioactive compounds which will be purified and used as products.
Okay, but have you tried a third party entity to test it and do other things?
No, not yet. We are now at this stage of using the bioactive molecules.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Adam and all the 12 presenters. Oh, do it better. It's not particularly easy to stand and deliver such a complicated range of ideas in 3 minutes. So we thank you. We know a lot of hard work and research has gone into your work. So congratulations to all the presenters. And a bigger round of applause for our jury, who have had to become experts on topics they had no idea about before today. Now we've reached a very important point where our jury would confer with each other and try and find a winner who would go represent Ghana in Berlin this November and be part of the lab finale. So please, while we're doing that, I would ask for some volunteers to help me. Okay, so I would ask the jury to take leave of us. Would I have some volunteers help me get 3 chairs on the stage while we have our panel discussion? Preferably men. Preferably men, I insist. No. Chivalry isn't dead, so it's embarrassing that a lady should do this. But thank you for your bold decision. Thank you very much. Yes, just lined up. Perfectly fine. So as our jury takes leave of us, we are going to the second phase of today's event. We're going to the second phase of this event, and that is our panel discussion. As our jury quickly walks out to return in the next 20 minutes and hopefully give us a winner for this year's Falling Walls Lab 2023 Ghana. Our panel discussion is going to be on the theme From Ideation to Startup, the Ghanaian Ecosystem. I give you the preamble. In his article published in the Business and Financial Times in October 2022, Paul Frimpong mentioned some interesting developments in the Ghanaian startup ecosystem. 1, Ghana is becoming one of the most vibrant and developing startup havens on the continent. The country is finally catching up fast with countries such as Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa as some of the continent's giants when it comes to startups. 2, Ghana is leading the area in technical innovation, and the number and size of digital enterprises are increasing, heralding the arrival of the 4th industrial revolution in the nation, particularly since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, the number of startups has drastically increased. The aim of this panel discussion is to look at steps to follow to realize a startup, discuss challenges, and project the future of startups looking at the dynamics today. Our panelists are Dr. Patrick Arthur. Can we give him a big hand as he joins us on the stage? Oh, be generous with your applause. Dr. Patrick Arthur is a lecturer at the University of Ghana and founder of Parker Lab. And Dr. Arthur's lab research focus is into drug discovery from fungal sources. Please, such a big man deserves a big round of applause. Next, we have Mr. Samuel Owu. He is a consultant with Startup Lounge for SMEs across Africa. He, of course, works with Startup Lounge. That is a consultancy based in Ghana with deep ecosystem knowledge and connections in the West African region. Friends, please welcome Mr. Samuel Owu. Oh, please be generous with your applause, and you take the last seat. Okay, I would walk across and grab the microphone, and we will begin the panel discussion. Oh, please put your hands together for me. Now, before I take my seat, I want you to pay rapt attention. We'll take some few questions at the end of today's discussions, and I believe Doc will set the ball rolling.
What experience has been is that, so if you listen to the last presentation, that's a gentleman from my lab. And for us in the biotechnology space, the period for ideation would span more than a decade, let's say, yes. And practically, our experience has been driven by some of the grant agencies that we have worked with in the past. In particular is Grant Challenges Canada. So through that grant effort, so usually as researchers we would apply for grants and they will fund the research that you are doing. But what Grand Challenges did in my case, and this was from 2013, that they required us, yes, so that's the year I got that grant. And they required us to go beyond the usual research, get results, publish, and go home, retire. And look at the concept of integrated innovation. And for somebody who had been trained, traditionally in the field of biological research or bioscience research, this was new, right? And so it has been a journey of learning to look beyond, generating data and publishing, and to learn about the concept of integrated innovation. Integrated innovation means that, and as you saw from majority of the presentations today, it takes more than just a good idea to develop an innovation, right? So with integration, what you're looking for is that you're looking for the technology that allows your idea to scale in order for it to become a solution, and then also the business innovation that allows you to mobilize all the resources you need to thrive. When it comes to the area I'm involved in, which is prospecting for new antibiotics, we don't have any original Ghanaian innovation, right? All the pharmaceutical companies we have basically produce out of patent medicines for the Ghanaian market, which is also okay. At least what they are able to do is to put what we call the API, the active pharmacological or pharmaceutical ingredient, into a dosage form that the market can appreciate. What we are trying to do is to move the scale upstream and feed that production pipeline with new molecules. Okay, we don't have to continue to sit here and wait for German companies, Swiss companies to do all that hard work for years for us to benefit from. Okay, so when it comes to contributing to the area of making new medicines, we've been on this for almost 15 years now. Okay, building a lab that is able to discover new pharmaceutical ingredients, first develop the science to achieve that, and then think about ways of taking it downstream. Downstream means that we now have to go beyond, determining what works in terms of new chemical entities, but also to come up with a system that allows us to produce it at scale. Okay, so over the years, I think starting 2015, we've tried to work with a number of agencies to develop what we term as medicinal fermentation. So this is like doing the same beer brewing process, but in this case, you're not brewing beer, but you're making medicines. And then from there, we should be able to engage with investors to create a facility that allows us then to begin to produce substances in kilograms that the pharmaceutical companies need. So that's our experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, a big round of applause for Doc. And I would quickly rope Samuel into the conversation. The discussion is on the theme from ideation to a startup, the Ghanaian ecosystem. So you are a consultant to a lot of SMEs. So tell us what happens in the Ghanaian ecosystem. Then we can tie in what Doc is saying.
Okay, thank you so much. So I guess for a lot of our teams here, they are all working on ideas, right? As a former founder myself, I was in the tech space. So in our ecosystem, we know that the key thing to developing any tech products, especially when you're coming up new, is speed. Speed is very important because the technology changes rapidly. So if you have an idea that you want to bring to market, it's very important that you are fast with your iterations. But I mean, hearing Doc speak, it just prompted me to understand something that before you start working on anything, you have to check your industry, because the rules about your industry or the rules about every industry is different. So like Doc was saying, in the bio, yeah, their ideation phase can take years, right? But it's not same for every industry. So depending on the industry, what your milestone should be for your business or for your startup, always consider first what is the standard of your industry, right? And then work within that. So now addressing the Ghana space in general, I remember when I first started my company, Roots Digital, back in 2014, with a couple of friends. During that time, there weren't as many players in the ecosystem as there are now. Now there are lots of venture capitalists, a lot of different organizations that are looking to support startups, and especially in very different industries. Way back then, the agri space was now just coming up, so there were now just a couple of organizations here supporting the agricultural space, especially with startups and the manufacturing in particular. But now there are a lot of them. There's Cosmos, there's Israeli Green Innovation. There are lots of other organizations in the space now looking to support startups, especially in the agri space. So for those in the agricultural space, agri-tech, agribusiness, there's a lot of support available now. I think you should really spend too much time building in isolation, because what that means is you build something that could likely be out of touch with your customer. And I'm sure a lot of the startups here would agree. In the war room, when you are brainstorming, an idea might seem excellent, it might seem really good, but a good idea is not the same as a valuable idea. And I think that is one thing we should all take note of, because value is only based on how your customers perceive it. So if you have a great idea, but nobody really wants to use it, it is not valuable. When you're working on a new idea, one of the first things you should be looking at is, how do I get my idea to a customer? Doesn't have to be a lot. You can do one customer, you can do 10, you can do 50, right? But get the idea to a customer as fast as possible in any format at all. It doesn't have to be a full-blown product. You can even just take the process. You don't have to have the product. You can just take the process and start talking to people. Explain to them, okay, I would give you this. You would do this and this and this. This is what it would give you. Just visualize the process for them. See how they react to it. And, get into the process of, going to customers very early. And as you do that, it gives you more information, gives you better direction, allows you to pivot properly. And by the time you realize, you have a product that more people would be willing to buy into. And it saves you a lot of time. We personally, we have spent a lot of time working on, as tech people, we like to build. So we spent a lot of time, building an app, have an idea. You build a lot of things, right, before you start showing to people. Because you usually don't want to, go and show something that isn't nice. Because we'll be like, okay, it's not really nice yet. We spend a lot of time doing that. And then eventually you show it somewhere and the person's like, oh, cool. And then, it ends there. And you realize that you spent so much time working on something, and at the end of the day, it's not really flying. Now you have to try and convince them that your great idea is valuable. And it doesn't fly that way. If you want your product to scale, you want it to become a good business, you have to look at it from the customer's point, not your point. I think those are all very good key points that I think a lot of startups should take note of as they are building from an idea into a developer startup.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Now, Doc, back to you. We are looking at the steps to follow to realize a startup. What are some of the challenges? Because you said in the biotech area, it takes 10 years from ideation to a startup. 10 years to develop a product. And what kind of challenges do you go through? Clearly, financial will be one of them, because if you are working on something for 10 years before you start even producing or earning, what are some of the challenges that you have to go through?
For us, it's difficult to visualize. I mean, the ultimate product is there, which is an API. And if you know what the value of an API, it can be $1 billion. $1 billion, right? So if a pharmaceutical company proves that this molecule can cure AIDS, usually they are dealing with more than $10 billion in revenue within, let's say, 2 years. But what I found difficult was visualizing any step between now and then. So the way to solve it is to talk to, and I like it that most of the presenters had engaged end users. For us, it's not easy to engage an end user, right? I can't just look you in the eye and ask you if you would like to taste this sample here, right? So an opportunity came up, and here I was talking to a company in Germany, and they supply pharmaceutical ingredients in development to pharmaceutical companies as they develop the final product. So they were the people who helped us to visualize what we can develop as what the industry people call it, minimum viable product. Okay, so once they helped us to conceptualize a minimum viable product well ahead of the API stage, at least it now gives us the chance to now move the timelines forward and begin to see how we are able to, let's say, start, instead of waiting for another 5 years, start last year to begin to assemble what the advice that was given to us, That was to, start with a small library of substances that companies will pay $100 for, and then within 6 months you're able to go, expand on that scale, and then step by step you'll be able to build a startup. Yes, so that's where we are.
Thank you very much, Doc. Can we give a big hand to Doc, Dr. Patrick Arthur? Doc, I believe that because your space is the biotech, it's a more structured environment, right? As a young person developing an idea in a not so structured system like Ghana, how do you deal with the challenges?
It's a very difficult question. Yeah. But I think that, you have to first be committed to learning. And then now information is free to come by. So on my YouTube, I have a folder I call MSc in Entrepreneurship. So Fridays, that's what I do. I commit myself to studying there are big organizations that build startups, fund startups, and they usually have conferences that educate people. One is Y Combinator. So I do a lot of studying of Y Combinator. So even if the environment we are operating in now doesn't have the structures, you can learn the structures that pertain elsewhere. And then, but judging from what the presentations that were made, I think that it's not that difficult to come up with a structure, right? I like the gentleman who has the cocoa pod breaking equipment, you know. So he is starting from the end user at the farm gate, using a vehicle that can reach the farm gate, you know. So that in itself is structure, right? Where you understand the problem you are dealing with in its geographical terms, right? And so that becomes a structure. When you are beginning to go up, where you are thinking about commercialization and raising capital, that's where it gets difficult. But we don't have to suffer in silence. I mean, this event is an example of a foreign, another country within our country giving us an opportunity to go to an international platform to engage people and learn. All right. So that, for me, that is what should happen, right? To understand that Ghana is not an isolated case, and what you don't see in Ghana doesn't mean it does not exist. So you study, look out, join international competitions like this one, and then join other events to continue to learn.
Thank you very much. Before we continue, I want to encourage everyone here. Once you scan the QR code, it gives you the opportunity to vote as an audience. So please do that right away, and so that we can take your input into account right away. Is that it, Felix? Okay. So Samuel, I'll move straight to you. Thank you, Doc. We are talking about the challenges for a Ghanaian startup. In fact, for a Ghanaian dreamer, from ideation.
Right, is exposure, or should I say, the customer reach. When you're developing one app or the other, like I said, it's very important that you're able to test it with somebody, or have somebody use it, and then see whether they are actually, you know, into it, what they find valuable, be able to study. And one thing I noticed is a lot of, or for our business, for instance, it was difficult to get somebody or to get a group of people to come in to maybe our space and test our application. So you would need, let's say, 5-10 people. We want to watch them use the app, right? So you give them the app, you watch them use it, you see what they do, what parts do they actually use, what parts do they ignore. Because there are sometimes you think, oh, this feature is great, or you give it to somebody to use, they totally ignore it. And you're wondering, why is that so? And I think one of the best ways to go about that is to impose, actually, on your friends and family. A lot of times we might want to shy away from them because you feel like, you know, it's still in development. You don't want to, in a sense, shy yourself, right? But impose on them. Put things to them, like always let them be involved, let them see. One thing I know is that they are very supportive. If you're a startup and you have friends and you've been showing your work to them, you notice that they are always very supportive. Some of them can be overly supportive or overly critical of your work, but I think it's a good thing. It really helps in identifying flaws in your product early, right? And makes it much better for you when you have to speak to a panel or you need to go and pitch your idea, because a lot of those issues would have been raised previously, right, by your friends, and it makes it very easy when you're going into a pitch, because you know beforehand the kind of questions they'll ask you. And I think the last challenge that I feel is new, especially in the startup ecosystem now, is that now we have a lot of manufacturing-based startups coming up, like the guys who do the cocoa pod breaking. I've noticed that it is an upcoming trend now. We have a lot of startups that are actually into product manufacturing, so they build products. And one thing I know is a very big challenge there is the starting capital. being able to gather the capital to actually build your design, because designs like those aren't cheap, especially when you're dealing with big problems that require big technical solutions. They aren't cheap. So you need to, gather the capital to be able to put the solution together, to be able to put. For that, I think one of the trends now in the industry is that there's a lot, like I said, especially in the agricultural space, there are a lot of organizations now that are willing to fund pilot ideas. Previously, it wasn't like that. Before, you need to demo, like you need to actually show like this working solution, right, before you're able to access funding. But now there are lots of organizations that are willing to fund you in pilot. So one thing you could do is when you're looking out for these pitch sessions, or you have these organizations organizing these programs, do check from the organization's websites or their mission or vision whether they are into the pilot funding, because not all of them are actually going to fund something that hasn't been built, but there are some that are willing to do that. So always do check whether the organization fits at your level, because you might not be at the level where they would fund you. You might have a good idea, but they won't fund you simply because you aren't where they are comfortable investing their money. So it's one of the things that you might want to always check when you're going into, or you see a pitch competition and you want to go into. Do some research on the organization, find out at what level they are comfortable at investing, and if you are there yet. So I think those are some issues or some challenges that we generally face as startups, and I think would be interesting to look at.
Thank you very much, Samuel. I hope everyone is taking note and getting their questions ready. But the last aspect of this is, can you project the future of startups looking at the current dynamics today, Doc?
So, based on the opportunities I see, I think that there's so much to go for, right? So, not so much in the IT space, because the IT is easy to become global. So others can create solutions from where they are and then leverage it in our country and vice versa. I think the ones that involve building something, right? And especially building things that are uniquely abundant in Ghana. So again, the cocoa example, right? Because there are only 2 countries that produce 90% of the cocoa in the world. So, naturally, the next one is going to the ocean. It's funny that Ghana will have 540 kilometers of ocean line, and we do very little on the sea, right? So those of you who like drone technology, composites, why should we still be building canoes from digging out wood trunks? So those are some of the things. And then the biotech space. As for the biotech space, I think I would say it's the future for Ghana. From what I've seen for the past 15 years, I think the biotech space is where Ghanaians can really leverage. So even if you are interested in building an app that supports biotech and agricultural technology is one of the big, spots to look for.
Thank you very much, Doc. We'll take a few questions before Samuel wades in on this as well. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and step forward and you can ask. Any questions so far or contribution? Okay. So please, you step forward and you can ask your question. I think we'll take just one more apart from you. Yeah. Your name and and where you're from. And straight to the question, no preamble.
Good afternoon. My name is Ibrahim Abukar Napari from CIBT. I wanted to find out from Sapon. Please, are you into software development or just mobile application development? That's my question.
Yes, please. I am. Been into software development for about 6 years now.
I see you have a follow-up, but I will not allow you to follow up. What's the follow-up? You see him. Good. Any other question or relevant contribution? Oh, please put your hands together for her as she steps forward. Oh, be generous with your applause. Are you tired already?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mami Kwa, and I'm from Wagbib. My question is, how do you know that your idea can move from idea to startup?
It's for any of the panelists. So Samuel, you have your take, and Doc will wrap it
I'm
up.
already holding the mic. Okay, so I think you don't really know, right? As founders, that's a big question mark, right? Is my idea actually viable as a product or as a business? And the only way to confirm that is through iteration, like I mentioned. So when you have an idea, the first thing I mentioned was to try and get it to market as fast as possible. Not in the perfect state as possible, but as fast as possible. Because that's the only way you validate whether the idea is actually, viable as a business. Because that's from there you can see that, okay, when I pitched it to people or when I made a sample and gave to somebody, their feedback or their response was good. And from there you can, start working on, because the rest comes, trust me, when you send something to somebody, they give you feedback, you see that it's good, they would give you some feedback. And that would help you in how you develop the idea. And if it's good, it will fly.
Yeah, so it's always a core issue. This is not working. Okay, so that's the core issue. And you would only know by talking to the market. So if, like me, if you don't know or you can't talk to your end user, you talk to the intermediary. The intermediaries will tell you what you need to make your idea a viable product. Until you have constructed the concept of what a viable product is, you don't have an innovation. So once you know what your viable product is, I think the next step is if your end user or your intermediary is willing to spend money, their own money, to support the development. If they are not willing, then you know you are far from having a viable idea. If you are close to having a viable idea, the involvement of the people you talk to would tell you, right? If they are constantly checking up on you to see what you are coming up with next, that tells you are on to something. And then, so it's not to be perceived through, even though you can, like us in the biotech space, you can read the world report on what the market is for novelty chemicals and things like that. You can see the impressive numbers. But how to connect to that market is through your intermediaries, okay? And if they say you have a product, then it means you have a product. Then the next challenge is to address scale. If you cannot scale your idea, then it's not also viable. Okay, so those are the two things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we give a big hand to our two panelists, Dr. Patrick Arthur and, of course, Mr. Samuel Owo. And as they take their seats, can we have our volunteers grab the chairs and take them back for us? Oh, a big round of applause for them. Thank you very, very much. Easy does it. Thank you very much, everyone. And we want to carry on with our program. If Mr. Barnes can come closer to me, I'll be grateful. I see our jury members busily shuffling papers. I hope they are bearers of good news. Mr. Chair, you just wait a minute for me to call you out. Is everyone here with us? Can I have your attention, please? Hello? Hello? Can we do a quick run through the room? Who do you think should win the first prize? Which presenter? 1 through 12. Who can give me a guess? Anyone? Because they are very good ideas, it's hard for me to pick from where I stand. Any idea? Your friend, I believe you came to support. But on that note, we want to duly acknowledge the guest of honor who has been here for a while, been part of the jury. We are honored to have in our presence His Excellency Daniel Krul, the German ambassador. His official title is the ambassador from the Federal Republic of Germany to Ghana. Can we give him a big round of applause? Your Excellency, you are welcome, and thank you for gracing this occasion with your presence. On that note, I would invite our jury chair to step forward and give us some very critical information. We need to proceed. Please put your hands together for Mr. Chonam Clance Akwelu. Okay. All right, so we are doing this in orderly fashion. We want to give a certificate of participation to all 12 presenters. So I would ask Dennis to be on standby for the special set of photographs. So the very first person, in no particular order, can we invite Mr. Timothy Asari to step forward for his certificate? Oh, please put your hands together. It's in no particular order. Oh, put your hands together. Do it better. Do it better. This means he participated in Fallen Walls Lab Ghana 2023, regardless of whether he wins or not. Please, another round of applause. And let's welcome Holy Hilarious Aboni to step forward to take his certificate of participation. Indeed, participating in Fallen Walls Lab Ghana 2023. Oh, be generous with your applause, would you? Thank you very much. And we will welcome Dr. Mrs. Charity Esinam Ano to step forward and take her certificate of participation for participating in Falling Walls Lab Ghana 2023. Oh, be generous with your applause. Put your hands together. Aha. Today, a lecturer had to come and make a presentation. Thank you very much, Dr. Charity. Next, we have Bright Eduji Gershon Kodowu. And he also gets his certificate of participation. Thank you very much. And let's welcome Gideon Kofi Potofi to step forward for his certificate. Adam, be on standby. All these participants have spent months submitting their research work and their pitches and have been shortlisted and presented today. Adam Kwame Bakwin, please step forward for your certificate of participation. And Thomas, be on standby. It's been a lot of hard work, sleepless nights, putting ideas together, putting products together, working on this pitch. So we appreciate your time and effort. Thomas Teriaba, step forward for your certificate of participation. We know a lot of work went into this, a lot of resources were spent, and we appreciate that so much. Next, we have Kekeli Yao Dokenu to also step forward to receive his certificate of participation. This is in no particular order, as I mentioned earlier. Our man who would always steal some extra time to explain his pitch the more. Thank you very much. Maltiti Mohammed steps forward to take his certificate of participation as well. Oh, put your hands together for Maltiti. And Ali Eliesu comes up next. He's also getting his certificate of participation. And we are grateful to all of you, great innovated, great minds, for participating in this year's Falling Walls Lab Ghana 2023. You are all winners, although only the first person would get the chance to be in Berlin in November. Can we have Dr. Asari step forward? And John, be on standby. Oh, put your hands together for Dr. Asari. Of course, Dorcas spoke about breaking the wall of financial non-inclusion. Oh, please put your hands together. A very thoughtful pitch, bringing together the neglected. Can we have John Adefio, the man who breaks cocoa pods for a living? And these 12 presenters have pitched their ideas, and they have done very well. They deserve another round of applause. You are all winners. Unfortunately, only one person gets the chance to go to Berlin in November 2023. But are you ready for us, Mr. Chairman? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. So I'm happy to announce that everybody is a winner. Please clap for everybody. So it's been an extremely difficult task. The presentations have been very great. We're excited, we're happy. Congratulations to all of you. At this moment, we only have to be able to isolate some of the ideas for the purposes of selecting the number one, so we can get them ready for Berlin. So on that note, we're going to be inviting the top three per the judging that we've done. So we'll start from the number three, the number two, the number one. So His Excellency, the Ambassador, please do us the honor. So the first award for today will be the Audience Award. So this typically folks online who are participating in the competition and actually are voting. So this goes to Gideon Kofi Potofi.
Put your hands together for Gideon Kofi Potofi. He spoke on breaking the wall of skin cancer. Congratulations. The audience think you are the best pitch. Let's see if the judges agree.
Congratulations, Gideon.
Congratulations. Mr. Chairman, carry on.
Yes. So now we are there. The third person, Falling Walls Lab Ghana, John Ade Adafio.
Put your hands together for John Ade Adafio.
Hazards and child labor.
Oh, put your hands together. He spoke on breaking the wall of hazards and child labor. and he picks up the third position. Put your hands together. He picks this up from His Excellency, and we are grateful.
Yes. The second position goes to Kekeli Yao Dokenu.
Put your hands together for Kekeli Yao Dokenu, breaking the wall of AIDS and deaths. Breaking the wall of AIDS and deaths. All the way from Regional Maritime University. One of the most engaging pitches today. Please put your hands together for Kekeli.
Yeah, so here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to announce the winner for this year's competition. It goes to...
Can you guess who wins the first prize? I want to see if I can see it.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't have the name on it.
Congratulations, Maltiti Mohammed.
Can we put our hands together for Maltiti Mohammed? He picks up the award and is on his way to Berlin in November 2023. He was our first presenter, and he picks up this award and represents Ghana at the lab finale in Berlin. Congratulations to Maltiti Mohammed. Oh, put your hands together for this young man heading to Berlin in November. Already his ticket is ready, and His Excellency Daniel Crow hands over the ticket. Come on, put your hands together. Let's be happy for our brother Maltiti Mohammed. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. In November, he flies all the way to Berlin to represent the country, Ghana, at the lab finale. Put your hands together. He is our best pitch from Ghana, and we are so proud of him. He's young, but he stood tall, competed against older competitors, and he stands tall today as the winner of Fallen Walls Lab Ghana 2023. Please put your hands together for Maltiti Mohammed. Oh, do it better, do it better. And we will want to congratulate and thank His Excellency Daniel Crow for doing us the honor. And we'll take a few words from him, of course, as our guest of honor.
Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for volunteering here and participating. I just want to take advantage of the chance to address all participants, also those who have not succeeded today, to follow up on their ideas and keep on working on your projects. I had a chance to listen to the jury, so you all had very exciting ideas, and there were some comments that there's room for improvement on presentation, or maybe getting a little bit more detailed in your proposal and so on. So I would like to encourage you to come up to the jury and ask for feedback, and try to take this as a learning opportunity for you, so you succeed in the next competition, because you all deserve to win. All right? Thank you very much, and good luck to you, and good luck to Ghana.
Put your hands together for His Excellency Daniel Crow, the German ambassador to Ghana. Thank you, Your Excellency, for being the guest of honor and making time from your busy schedule to be here. We are grateful. Can you put your hands together for all the 12 participants? And can we put our hands together for our star pitcher, Maltiti, the winner? Can we do it better? He looks like one of the youngest presenters, and he has won. We are so excited and proud of you, Maltiti. We know you make Ghana proud in Berlin in November. So go and work hard. All righty. We've reached the end of today's program. At the end, we go up for lunch and a farewell reception. But I want to say a big thank you to our jury. They do this on a gratis basis, means they were not paid for what they came to do. Can we put our hands together for every single member of the jury? God bless you for sacrificing to make this possible. Do not be in a hurry to leave. Once we leave, we all go. We want to network. That's the whole concept of breaking the walls. We are one people now. We connect on so many different levels. Let's get to know each other. Presenters, let's mingle. Let's get to know how we can both improve on all the concepts and ideas you've presented today. I think that all the audience here, you have been incredible. Put your hands together for yourselves. We want to say a big thank you, of course, to the Federal Foreign Office and DAAD Ghana and Startup Lounge Africa for such a wonderful program. Of course, my name is Perry Owusu-Ejei. It's been my privilege serving you as the moderator for today. Have a pleasant afternoon. Thank you for coming. Please remain seated. His Excellency will take lead of us, and then everybody follows suit. And can we have all participants take a group photograph here together with the jury when we are done? And then after that, we all go to the top and go and have our lunch, and then we would network, and then we will disperse. Your Excellency, thank you for coming, and we are grateful for you gracing this occasion.